I'm fine. Though I wonder how long I can hold it, Kakashi said, keeping the last part to himself. He rested for a bit while Naruto stayed with Deidara. He noticed they that were leaving the ravine fast, and the Jonin cursed. I'll try it one more time, Kakashi said as he strained his eye again on Deidara's body. He got a clean hit on it, but Deidara managed to dodge it in time, and Kakashi cursed as he moved it towards Deidara again. You really are annoying with that thing, Deidara said, dodge the black hole again. Kakashi cursed and closed his eyes, not being able to handle the strain of it anymore. Naruto saw Kakashi getting tired and narrowed his eyes. He could tell that things had gone on far enough, so he sighed as they came into the tree-filled area. They were quite a ways away from Kushina and the others, but Naruto trusted them all. Deidara flew a few feet further and landed his bird, while it dropped Gaara down on the ground. He grinned as he made a bomb and planted it between two trees. Not a second before that did Naruto pass by, and Deidara grinned. He guessed that the blonde was the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. He could be wrong, but he needed a guess for the moment. Katsu! He yelled, and an explosion separated Naruto from Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, are you all right? Naruto asked, and Kakashi nodded. He was about to go and help Naruto, but Deidara had other plans. I wouldn't move if I were you. I've planted bombs all around this place. Get inside and they explode. Now then, why don't you and me have some fun, Kyuubi Jinchuriki? Deidara asked, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. He gripped his sword and turned to Gaara. Give me! Gaara right now! Naruto yelled, and Deidara chuckled. He knelt down and slapped Gaara's face, making Naruto seethe. Sorry, kid, but he's gone. You and your little group arrived too late, Deidara said, and Naruto failed to contain his anger. He seethed, and his eyes grew red. He felt so damn pissed off. He quickly made a clone and dashed at Deidara. The blonde went through his hand signs and yelled at him. Futon! Daitapa! Naruto yelled, sending a fierce wind at Deidara. The Akatsuki member managed to dodge the attack, but he didn't see the clone blur out of his field of vision, and it appeared behind him. You damn Akatsuki! Playing with people's lives. Who do you think you are? Naruto yelled unconsciously, taking Kyuubi's chakra before he slammed Deidara across the face and into the ground. He narrowed his eyes when he saw it was a clay clone and gritted his teeth. Red chakra started to envelop his body, and the blonde looked around for Deidara. Man, this guy is a freak, but I'll show him with this, Deidara said as he went into his pouch. But gasp! He was out of clay and he didn't have any more to use. Naruto chuckled mysteriously as he turned to a specific tree. All right, if you won't come out, then I'll give you no place to hide, Naruto yelled as he took out his sword. Naruto, calm down, Kakashi yelled, but the blonde didn't hear him. He quickly breathed easily, and his sword started to hum. It's new to me, but I'll use it. Uzu no Ikari. Shinkunami! Whirlpool rage! Vacuum waves! Naruto yelled as he sent wind blazes around the forest, cutting all the trees in the vicinity. Kakashi widened his eyes at what Naruto did, and so did Deidara. This guy really is a freak. In any case, I can't fight them now. I'll just have to leave for now, Deidara said to himself. Naruto huffed as he surveyed the landscape. He didn't see any sight of the Akatsuki member and cursed. This was not his day. The blonde sighed and turned to see Gaara's lifeless body. He looked at his sword for a second before Kakashi came up to him. We did all we could, Naruto. It's not your fault, Kakashi said, and Naruto settled for simply looking at Gaara. They heard a giant explosion a few miles away and turned to see that it was where Kushina, Sakura, and Chiyo were. Back with Kushina, Sakura, and Chiyo. All the women huffed as they looked around the place. It was a very destroyed battlefield. Hundreds of puppet parts were everywhere. Kushina was huffing, and so were Sakura and Chiyo. Kushina was next to Sasori with her sword right through his most vital spot. The small little hole where his life really was. Sasori coughed up some blood while Kushina impaled him. Sasori narrowed his eyes and sighed. In the end, I hesitated. Guess I really am human after all, Sasori said, and Chiyo nodded. Kushina took her blade out of Sasori's chest, while Sasori looked at the mother and father puppets. How unsightly. I can't believe I lost, Sasori said, and everyone sighed. He then turned to Sakura and grinned. I remember somewhere in our fight you mentioned Sasuke Uchiha and Orochimaru. That damn traitor. Well, in exchange for beating me, I'll give you some information. I have a contact who is supposed to meet me at a certain bridge north of here. Maybe he'll have some information for you, Sasori said, and Sakura widened her eyes. Why are you doing this for us? Sakura asked, and Sasori rolled his eyes. Like, I said it's for you beating me. Just go before and cause Orochimaru a damn headache like I would have, Sasori said, while he closed his eyes. He turned to see his first made puppets on the ground and slumped to the ground also while everyone looked at him. Come on, we have other things to do, Kushina said, knowing they wouldn't leave if this kept up. Sakura and Chiyo nodded and left the cavern as they left to catch up to Naruto and Kakashi. It took about half an hour, but everyone finally rejoined as they looked at Sasori's lifeless body. Chiyo stared at the redhead boy and advanced towards Gaara. She knew what she had to do. Sakura and Kushina watched her advance, but Kushina more or less looked at Naruto. Chiyo knelt down and placed her hands on Gaara's chest. Sakura looked sad, as did everyone else, but Naruto stopped Chiyo as he patted her on the shoulder. Don't do it, Naruto said, and Chiyo raised an eyebrow. He might not have known what he was going to do, but it involved Gaara, so he figured she would bring him back. But Naruto shook his head. Sakura widened her eyes. Naruto, what are you talking about? She's going to bring Gaara back, Sakura said, but Naruto glared at her with some coldness in his eyes that made her flinch. He turned to his mother as if secretly telling her what he was going to do. Kushina nodded in understanding and patted Sakura's shoulder. Calm down. My son knows what he's doing, Kushina said as Naruto picked up Gaara's body. Soon before he could leave, Team Gai came back, and they looked a lot worse for wear. Gai, you made it, Kakashi said, and the Jonin nodded, huffing. Yay, we made it. We were resting a few feet away, so we all regrouped. Did we make it? Lee asked, making Kakashi and Sakura hold their heads down. Chiyo looked full of remorse, while the others turned to see Gaara in Naruto's arms. I guess we didn't make it, huh? Ten said, while Sakura glared at Naruto. Chiyo-sama was planning to resurrect Gaara, but Naruto stopped her. We have no idea why, Sakura said, and everyone looked at Naruto strangely. The blonde narrowed his eyes and walked away, but Kakashi grabbed his shoulder. Naruto, I know it's hard, but you must let Chiyo-sama do what she needs to do. Don't you want Gaara back? Kakashi asked, and Naruto nodded. So place him down, Kakashi said. But then Naruto shook his head, confusing everyone except Kushina. Naruto, why are you being so selfish? It's not like you, Tenten asked, and Naruto sighed. He knew they wouldn't understand, and even less they wouldn't believe him. Listen, guys. I'm sorry if I'm being selfish, but I need to do this. Just trust me on that, and whatever you do, don't follow me, Naruto said as he carried Gaara towards a few other trees that weren't cut down by the blonde as he left everyone in the plains. What's he going to do? Sakura asked. Everyone wasn't sure how to answer him, but Kushina sighed as she watched her son leave. Well, let's trust him for now. He's not the type to lie, and Eve, if he is, then he's quite horrible at it, just like his father, Kushina said, smiling while everyone chuckled at her. With Naruto. Naruto sighed in relief, as no one seemed to be following him. He placed Gaara on the ground and undid the wrist guard on his clothing, showing the seal that changed, and is still changing his life. You alright, Kit? Kyuubi asked, and Naruto bit his thumb. He traced his blonde over the seal and sighed. I hate not telling them, but I'm still trying to be smart about this, Kyuubi. I'd be more than glad to tell them about all of this, but what's the point if they don't believe it? Naruto said, and Kyuubi simply rested in its cage. You're probably not giving them that much credit. After all, the only ones who know about this deal are you, your mother, and me. It's understandable, I guess. You're such a chicken, though, the fox said, and Naruto sighed. He had to give a small chuckle to that despite the situation. Kuchiosa no jutsu! Naruto yelled as his seal glowed and then faded out like always. He waited for a few minutes, then turned around. Sure enough, his summon was right behind him, glaring at him with his cold, steely eyes as usual. Something I need me to do this time, the Shinigami asked, and Naruto nodded. He knelt down to Gaara's lifeless body. He then turned back to the Shinigami, who was still watching him. I'd like to revive Sabaku no Gaara. I agree to the terms of condition. I'll give you a replacement and the addition before the week is up, Naruto said, and the Shinigami nodded. The blonde watched as Shin opened his hand to reveal the beads he had and shook them. The beads glowed for a bit, and soon, a light enveloped Gaara's body. Naruto watched the Shinigami work. The light faded after a while as Naruto checked on Gaara. To the blonde's relief, the former container of the Ichibi groaned while his eyes stayed closed. Thank you, Shin. Gaara didn't have to die, Naruto said, and the Shinigami narrowed his eyes at the blonde. Everyone dies at some point, well, except you at this point, but I'm now that you've agreed to a second person being revived, and you've slightly improved as the first human Shinigami. I shall tell you of the next ability you have as my summoner. But later? Right now isn't the best time, the Shinigami said, and Naruto nodded. With that, the death god faded into nothingness, while Naruto stared at Gaara. The Ichibi Jinchuriki opened his eyes to see Naruto smiling at him. Hey man, how are you doing? Naruto asked, and Gaara settled for staring at him. I'm alive. But how? I don't feel Shukaku anymore, so it was taken. I was captured by Akatsuki. I could feel my life dwindling so much now I'm here. It's strange, Gaara said, and before long Naruto picked him up and put the Kazukage's arm around his back, while Naruto dragged him back to everyone else. Don't worry about it, man. I gotcha, Naruto said as they came back to the clearing. They were both astonished by the sheer number of Suna shinobi who came to get the Kazekage, but no one was more surprised than Naruto's friends. Sakura widened her eyes, and so did everyone else. Chio wondered what Naruto did to see Gaara so alive and well. It wasn't any type of clone, but since the chakra signature was exactly the same. That boy is full of surprises, Chio said, while Kushina nodded with a small smile on her face. That's my son, Kushina said, and before long everyone greeted the two and carefully inspected Gaara for any serious injuries. The Kazekage then turned to see Chio smiling at him, and the youngest Sabaku of the family gave her a small smile on his own, but it was almost unnoticeable. Gaara-sama, you're all right, someone said, hugging the redhead, but Gaara still felt a bit hazy about everything. However, he could think about that later. He gently smiled and stood forward. Everyone thank Naruto Uzumaki and his friends. Without them, I might not be here right now, Gaara said, and everyone turned to the blonde he was talking about. They all bowed to Naruto with their thanks for saving their Kazekage. The blonde blushed and rubbed the back of his head while others thanked his team also. Meanwhile, Sakura was tending to Gai and his team since their fight. You four are crazy. You all have mild chakra exhaustion, and you're all exhausted beyond belief. Gai-san, you really should have let Kushina-san go with her plan, Sakura said, making Kushina nod, but Gai gave Sakura a thumbs up while he grinned. So long as you have the flames of youth, you can conquer any opponent, Gai said, making most of them sigh. Well, I'll be more than happy to get some rest. I'm tired, Chio said, rubbing her bones. Kushina nodded in agreement with her, which Gaara and Naruto overheard also. Well, Suna will be more than happy to offer everyone some rooms. It's the least we can do, someone said as the people cheered. Everyone smiled with a nod while Ten sat on the ground. Getting praised might not be such a bad thing after all, she said, and everyone chuckled at her. They all spent a bit more time in the fields before finally leaving in a good mood that they had. For some reason, Naruto was happy that he dodged his team's questions for the moment. Suna? Nighttime? The entire village was in an uproar over their Kazakage's return, along with the blonde and his teammates rescuing him. Naruto smiled at the thought of it. He also felt much happier that there wouldn't be any grief over Chiyo's death if he let her go with what she probably had planned. He was happy that he just avoided a meaningless death. The blonde was currently on one of the Suna house rooftops, while he watched the small celebration taking place. While he enjoyed hanging out and partying at times right now, he just preferred to be out of the way for some reason. He had a cup in his hand while he watched Gaara go through the hundreds of people who missed him along with his siblings. Well, looks like they're having fun, Naruto said to himself, but he failed to realize that he wasn't alone. I know they are, so why aren't you joining them? Naruto turned around to see his mother walking up to him, and the blonde shrugged. He saw the gentle smile on her face as the two Uzumaki leaned on the fence that surrounded the house. Kushina stared her son for a few minutes and simply marveled at him for plenty of different reasons. 1. Because he seemed so complex to her, thinking sometimes. 2nd, was because he was dealing with a heavy gift and burden of being the Shinigami's summoner. Kushina just wasn't sure if she could handle such a thing. But here her son was handling it like a true Uzumaki. While the 3rd was more of an unmotherly type of reason. She had marveled at her son as a man. The blonde had so much potential to his name, and he always managed to make her smile. Truth be told, Kushina had been sort of jealous when Tenten asked if Naruto was seeing anyone. She wasn't sure why, but she wasn't completely oblivious to the way her son looked at her. Hearing her son's life, he could tell that he knew next to nothing about women, which she partially blamed his academy instructors for that. Soon, while Kushina was going on about her son and her unmotherly feelings for him, she was then brought back to the time when she saw her son with nothing but a towel and his boxers on. It was the first time that she had looked at him so intently. She could obviously tell that he was fit and good-looking, which Tenten had clarified that one time. His strong arms, amazing chest, and plenty of other things. It was only when she noticed her son looking at her that she broke from her stupor and turned away with a slight blush on her face. What's wrong with me? Why am I even thinking about this? Kushina wondered. Unknown to her, Naruto was thinking about things with his mother also. It was undoubted by him that he loved his mother, as her son. When he revived her, she was easily the prettiest woman he had ever seen. He was happy that such a woman was his mother, but he also wasn't, as he found himself growing more and more attached to her. He always figured that he'd love Sakura, but she was becoming more and more secluded from his mind as he realized that he'd stopped with a chan suffix to her name. He also remembered when someone had hit on his mother, and the jealousy in the blonde was sort of evident at the time. He had pounded the guy like there was no tomorrow. To Kushina, it was quite endearing to see her son like that. Naruto also remembered those times when he had supposedly been asleep, only to see his mother in her nightgown, which always made Naruto blush. He was by no means an expert on sex and the like, but when you travel with the world's number one pervert, you learn a few things even if you don't really want to. Kuso. Why am I worried about this? It's so wrong to think this. What if she hates me? I don't want that. She'll think I'm a pervert, Naruto said. But then he heard QB laughing like mad. Though he could very well ignore the fox if he put his mind to it. He continued to look at her as the cool wind blowed across the village, making her hair slightly blow with it, giving her a pleasant look. Kushina turned back to see her son staring at her intently, and both weren't sure. But they had been like that for quite a long time, just staring and checking each other out. Though it was Kushina who broke the silence first. So, the night air is nice, isn't it? Kushina asked, shooting blank words to say, as there wasn't much to talk about. Naruto nodded with her question, and looked down to see Gaara talking to everyone about resuming his cage position for Suna, making people cheer. I suppose, although it's nice to see Suna happy with having Gaara back, Naruto said, and Kushina nodded. She moved slightly closer to Naruto while the smile never left her face. Naruto looked at her weirdly with a smile of his own. So, what are you going to do now? Are you going to be a ninja again? Naruto asked his mother, and Kushina shrugged her shoulder. She wasn't sure either. but she had an idea in mind. Well, I have an idea, so I'll take with Tsunade when we get back. Not to mention I need to have a talk with both her and Kakashi about something. But that's for later. I also think that maybe I should... Kushina stopped when she felt her lips covered. She widened her eyes when felt Naruto near her. He was kissing her. Kushina wondered where this came from, but she was also wondering how this happened. Before anything happened, Naruto widened his eyes and backed away from his mother. He stopped and gulped. "Sochi, why did you kiss me?" Kushina asked, but Naruto blushed and looked away. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I mean, what I was trying to do was, Naruto's head was in overdrive. He just kissed his mother, which shocked the woman. She would have pushed the blonde away, but Naruto stepped away before she could do anything like it. Kushina touched her lips and Naruto gulped. He just possibly destroyed his relationship with his mother, but Naruto couldn't deny how he felt. He actually felt like it for 2 years, and only now was he ever acting on it. Ka-chan, can I tell you something?" Naruto asked, and Kushina gave her son her undivided attention. Naruto hesitated and really knew this was wrong, but he just decided that she deserved to know. At least he could live with himself if he got a reply. Okay, so that was half a lie. A rejection would really destroy him. "What is it, Naruto-kun?" Kushina asked, and the blonde sighed. For Kyuubi, if he could move, he would have been sitting in a chair munching on some popcorn, like he was watching his favorite play start. It was amazing. "I know it's wrong, Ka-chan, and I know what I want is impossible," Naruto said as he grabbed his mother's shoulders, making Kushina gasp. She locked her eyes with his as Naruto sighed. "I love you, Kaya-chan. For the past 2 years since I saw you, I've had some feelings for you, and I don't know what to expect from you. But I had to say that," Naruto told her, and Kushina widened her eyes. She felt Naruto's powerful arms grab hers as he gave her his confession. "And Naruto, I don't know what to say," Kushina said, looking down, and Naruto did the same. He looked confused for a bit, but simply pushed forward and kissed his mother again, making Kushina gasp. She felt the smoothness of her son's lips. Kushina slightly felt her legs tremble while Naruto wrapped his arms around his mother. It wasn't an in-depth kiss, but it was still a kiss that shocked Kushina. She was kissing her son, and she was sort of liking it. The redhead gasped and caught herself. She quickly pushed Naruto away from her and backed away slightly. "Sochi, you can't. It's wrong, so you should just stop," Kushina said, and Naruto sighed. He looked at the ground and nodded. "I know it's wrong, but I can't help it, Kei-chan. You're so pretty and beautiful," Naruto said to her. But Kushina didn't want her son to think like that. She unconsciously touched her lips while she looked at Naruto's depressed face. She would be lying if she said that she didn't feel anything in that kiss they just had. Minato had never kissed her so passionately before in the times they were together. It wasn't even that long yet. It felt good to her. The Uzumaki woman shook her head and sighed. "Can we just forget about it?" she asked, hoping to mend the small knot that came to their mother-son relationship, but to her dismay, Naruto just turned from her and leaned his elbows on the railing. He saw Gaara looking at him. Naruto gave him a fake smile and waved, but Gaara could see the slight depression in his eyes. He wondered what was wrong with the blonde and aimed to find out. "I'm sorry, Kao-chan, but I can't forget about it." "I'm sorry that I kissed you," Naruto said, and Kushina looked saddened. She slightly regretted her talk for that second, as she realized that Naruto might have been serious. "Naruto, don't ignore your mother," Kushina said, as she never wanted to see Naruto distressed over this. Naruto sighed and turned around. "It's all right, Kaya-chan. You can just go. I'll stay here for a little while," Naruto said to her, and Kushina widened her eyes. Even though he didn't see it, Naruto knew his mother was heartbroken and simply walked away. He stayed on the roof and sighed. This wasn't how he wanted things at all. It was then that the door opened and Naruto thought it was his mother again, but the sound he heard wasn't it. "So this is where you were. Mind telling me why you're up here by yourself?" Gaara asked, and Naruto shook his head. "It's no big deal, Gaara. Just women troubles, the blonde responded, and the Kazakage was shocked, or at least surprised, even if he didn't show it. He never figured that Naruto would have such things for women. Well, he hoped that Naruto at least liked women, which the blonde did, but that was beside the point. I see. Well, I'm not really one for it either, Gaara said, and Naruto chuckled at him, making Gaara raise an eyebrow. Don't tell me you haven't noticed it, Naruto said, remembering how that Mitsuri girl acted around the Kazakage. Meanwhile, Gaara simply settled for staring at the blonde, and Naruto chuckled. Well, never mind. Tell me, Gaara, what do you think it means when to love your parents? Naruto asked, and Gaara looked back out at the village. He imagined his mother, and how she might be smiling at him for being the Kazakage. I don't know what you mean by that. Isn't loving your parents a normal thing? Gaara asked, and Naruto nodded that it was true, but not this type of love at all. Well, it's more than that, Naruto said, and Gaara narrowed his eyes. He knew what Naruto was talking about, and Gaara turned to Naruto. Well, I can't tell you anything. I remember that time when you told me that I should protect what's precious to me. Then I'll understand how to love, not just myself, but others, and grow stronger. I can't tell you how to do things, but you should know for yourself what you want, and how to get it. In this world, second-guessing yourself might get you killed. If you think something is right by your standards, then that's you. No one can take that from you, Gaara said to him. Naruto seemed to brighten up as he smiled. He figured that was true. I guess you're right, Gaara. So who you go after to marry? Naruto asked, and Gaara glared at his friend. Naruto chuckled and nodded. No? All right. I gotcha, Databeo, Naruto said, and Gaara settled down. Well, man, I'm gonna go. I'm going to have a long talk with someone, Naruto said, and Gaara nodded. The blonde shunshined from the spot and into a vacant place. He didn't see anyone around and bit his thumb. Kuchiyosa no Jutsu, Naruto yelled, and his seal glowed before fading. Immediately, he turned around to see the shinigami staring at him. So what was it that you wanted to tell me from earlier? Naruto asked, and Shin nodded. He looked up at the moon for a second, then looked back down at Naruto. Now that you've had some experience with being my summoner, you will inherit the gift that I gave to you. Granted, it has some limits, but it still works just as good, Shin said, and Naruto nodded. Since you can revive people, you are given a certain amount of control over them. Nothing too over your head at the moment. For the moment, you can only control the things they say, or more precisely, if you allow it. They can never lie to you. I'm starting you off with that since you're still new to this. When I think you're ready, you'll get another part of the deal, which will be a secret for now. I'm leaving now, the shinigami said, leaving Naruto in the dark alley. The blonde sighed and pouted. That wasn't much of a new ability if he thought about it. He expected something good, but that seemed so boring. He could only control the truth and lies that came out of someone's mouth. That was no fun at all. And then there was the secrecy to it all. I feel like I just got played Databeo, Naruto said, making Kyuubi grin. I think you did too. Oh well, no point in complaining now. Go find your mother and go be the motherfucker I know you are, Kyuubi said, and Naruto blushed. He quickly sighed and looked at the sky. Iro Kyuubi. I swear ever since I talked with you about this thing like 2 years ago, you've never let up at all. It's like you enjoy causing me grief, Naruto said, and Kyuubi rolled his eyes. Hey, I'm stuck in this stupid cage with no way of getting out while my ass is sitting in sewer water. How would you get your fun? Kyuubi asked, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Should I change it for you then? Naruto asked, and Kyuubi instantly brightened its face. That would be great. Make it hellish, a few demons around the place and the local demoness, Kyuubi said, grinning like mad. Naruto sighed as he walked towards his room, where he was sure that his mother was there. Fine, I guess. You really are a weird fox. You're not like when I first met you, all evil and arrogant, Naruto said, and Kyuubi rolled his eyes. Oh, shut up, Kit. It's not even like that. I'm still a prideful fox, and to be stuck inside you is almost a fate worse than death, Kyuubi stated, and Naruto simply smiled as he headed through the crowds and up the stairs of his house. "You said almost," Naruto said, and Kyuubi nodded with some slight annoyance. "Well, seeing you sweat over getting it on with your mother is kind of nice to see," Kyuubi said, and Naruto rolled his eyes. He really did have a weird kitsune for Baiju. Naruto came up to his room door and got up the nerve to knock on the door. He was quite happy when he got a reply at the door. "Who is it?" Kushina asked in a semi-happy tone that Naruto picked up on. The blonde sighed as he gulped down the urge to run. But he was Naruto Uzumaki, and he never ran. "It's me, Kachan," Naruto said, and soon there was silence for about a few minutes in the room. "Come in," Kushina said after what seemed like an eternity to the blonde. Naruto opened the door and saw his mother on the bed. Naruto calmly made his way to his mother and sat down next to her. Kushina stared at the floor like she was too ashamed to look at her son, but Naruto sighed as he looked at the wall. The tension in the air was very intense. Even Kyuubi was feeling, and he was currently enjoying his new domain-looking place. "Say something and stop sitting there like an idiot, which you are, but still," Kyuubi yelled, making Naruto slightly jump. "Chan, do you really think it's wrong?" Naruto asked unexpectedly, making Kushina raise an eyebrow at the floor. "Is what wrong?" Kushina asked, and Naruto rubbed the back of his head. "Is it wrong that I said, 'I love you more than a son normally does'?" Naruto responded. And Kushina slightly blushed, but she nodded her head that it... "Yes, Sochi, you can't be in love with me. You should find a nice girl your own age inside of me," Kushina said, and Naruto rubbed his eyes. It was almost getting late, but they knew they weren't going anywhere for at least 2 days, so that was fine since Kakashi had chakra exhaustion from his new Sharingan. "Kaya-san, you know my life, and there aren't that many nice girls who would understand the real me," Naruto answered, and Kushina found that to be true in some cases. It was sort of like that for Minato in a few ways. Then Kushina stopped herself. She kept comparing Naruto to Minato, and she needed to stop it. She would only focus on her son for now. "Well, I know that girl 10 thought you were cute, and she's right, you're quite the..." Kushina widened her eyes and stopped while Naruto secretly smiled. He just got his mother to admit something about him. Anyway, you can't be with me." "It's wrong, Databane," Kushina said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. "You always saw Databane when you're excited? You're excited by this conversation?" Naruto asked, and Kushina blushed again before she tried to cover it up. Rather than excitement, this is embarrassment, Databane," Kushina said. And Naruto smiled while Kushina giggled, but the blonde didn't want to wave the conversation in another direction. "Who says it's wrong?" Naruto asked, and Kushina paused, not understanding the question. "What do you mean?" Kushina asked, and Naruto turned to see her looking at her. Kushina might not have known or tried to show it, but she was interested in the fact that Naruto was trying to weave her into the forbidden things he wanted from her. "I mean, who says that I can't be with you even if we're related?" Naruto asked, and Kushina thought that over. "Attaboy Kit. Use those loopholes," Kyuubi said as he watched the conversation going on. "It's not like anyone specifically said it was wrong, Sochi, but rather nearly all of society finds it wrong because it's unnatural for family to love family." "Don't you care what people think of you?" Kushina asked, and Naruto shrugged his shoulders. "Of course, Kachan. I always wanted people to see me as myself and not Kyuubi. I wanted to be recognized and accepted. I did care what people thought of me, but I also don't let it control my life. If I want something, I get it, Databeo. Heck, people hated my orange jumpsuit, but I liked it. Even if all of society hates my clothes, they can't take away my desire to wear it around like the awesome color it was. To me, it's the same thing as this," Naruto said, and Kushina mentally cursed that her son made so much sense. She really had been teaching him way too much in order for her of all people to get stumped in a conversation. Naruto waited for her try at countering him, but the redhead for all her life couldn't find one. "Be honest, Ka-chan. Is it about 2-chan that you can't?" Naruto asked, and Kushina quickly raised her head. Naruto looked at her intently, and she mentally crumbled under his gaze. What would Minato say, Sochi? I can't do that to him, Kushina said, and Naruto got to his feet, surprising Kushina. He'd say, "Good job, Naruto. Keep your mother happy." I know you can do it, Naruto said, and Kushina stared at him blankly while her eyes blinked a few times. She suddenly giggled, and Naruto had to admit that it was the nicest one he'd ever heard in a while. Why is it that you can always make me smile despite the situation's databane? Kushina asked, and Naruto shrugged his shoulders. He quickly walked over to his mother, making the Uzumaki woman look up. Naruto felt his heart skip a beat for a second before he leaned close to his mother. Can I kiss you, Databeo? Naruto asked, and Kushina looked at him. No, she said instantly, but Naruto didn't falter. He then lowered his head a little more closer to her face. How about now? The blonde asked his mother, and Kushina stiffened. She wanted to move, she really did, but the strength was leaving her legs. No, she said again, and Naruto moved a little closer again. Now? He asked, but his answer was the same. This happened for about 2 more times as Naruto was just inches from his mother's face, enough for him to feel her breath over his. Now, Databeo? Naruto asked again, and Kushina tried to back away. But she was on the side of the bed, so her legs were locked at the edge of the bed. And no, Kushina said, and Naruto smiled as he pushed his lips back to his mother's. Kushina widened her eyes while Naruto quickly kissed a bit more aggressively. Kushina felt her body slowly heat up slightly while she felt her son's lips over hers. She didn't want to admit it, she shouldn't admit it, but she felt a small satisfaction from it. Kushina shivered for a bit, but then gently stopped Naruto as she pushed him off her. Sochi, let me think. I'm tired, and I want to think this over a little later, Kushina said, and Naruto sighed. He wanted to continue, but the blonde relented and stopped. He backed away from his mother and rubbed the back of his head. All right, I'm gonna go wash up and get ready for bed. See you tomorrow, catch on, Naruto, said, disappearing into the bathroom, while Kushina placed her hands on her knees and looked at the ground. Why do I have such a carefree son? Kushina wondered as she placed a finger to her lips before getting ready for bed. She knew it would be hard to sleep after their talk, but she hoped she would manage even if she was starting to succumb to her own wants and desires. But that was for another day. Morning, Tsunogates. Naruto and the rest of his friends stood in front of Gaara and his siblings as they were about to leave. Everyone had been fine for the time being and were ready to leave, but Gaara decided to bid them all a goodbye along with Chio. Well, I guess this is, were you shake hands or something like that, right? Naruto asked sheepishly while Gaara gave a small smile. He then held out his hand, surprising the blonde, but he quickly grinned as he shook the former Ichibi Jinchuriki's hand. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki, Gaara said, and Naruto simply settled for nodding as they waved goodbye to Gaara and his family. They quickly grabbed their things and headed on their way. The trip had started silent as there wasn't much to talk about with anyone. Naruto managed to spare a glance at Kushina, but he saw her eyes looking more at the ground than what was in front of her. She appeared to be in some real thought, and Naruto wanted to say something to her. But he figured he'd better not, and let her think. He didn't want to push her away with his usual annoyance, so he left her alone, which Kushina seemed to notice, and was slightly thankful for. Still, I can't believe Gaara was alive. Naruto, what did you do? Tenten asked, and Naruto widened his eyes. He soon felt the eyes of everyone on him as the blonde gulped. He mentally cursed Tenten in her mouth, but could tell she was just curious. It's rather hard to explain, you know, Naruto said, but the gazes only continued to burn into him. You did do something stupid, did you? Sakura asked, and making Kushina's eyebrow twitch. Naruto glared at her before rolling his eyes. I'm the same idiot you think I am, Sakura. I'd like a little more credit than that. Alright, if you want to know what I did, then I'll tell you, Naruto said, and Kushina wondered if he was really doing to say something about his contract with the Shinigami. Everyone paid attention to Naruto's words, and couldn't wait to hear him. During my travels with Keisan and Iro-senin, I came across a book on a certain chakra control exercise that talks about sending chakra throughout the body. Once the chakra is inside the body, you must send it to the vital organs. This works for people who are alive or have only been dead for a few hours. I don't remember what the book was called, Naruto said, and everyone wondered if there was such a book. Was it a medical book? Sakura asked, really interested in the aspect of such a thing, and everyone agreed with her. If they could use that, then they would be considered an amazing nation to accomplish it. But their hopes were shot down when Naruto shook his head. It wasn't a medical book of any kind that I'm not sure of, but it's also impossible to do unless you have good chakra control along with my level of chakra reserves, otherwise you'll die, Naruto said, making the others gulp slightly. Kushina snickered a bit at her son's ingenuity and hated to admit it, but Naruto got that from her rather than Minato, and she enjoyed that side of him. Everyone contemplated Naruto's words for a bit and thought them over. They seemed to make sense even if everyone thought it was strange like that. I never thought there was such a technique like that, or that Naruto would pick up a book, but there must be stranger things in the world, Tenten said, making mostly everyone smiled, and Naruto just blushed with slight embarrassment. Well, Naruto, why didn't you just tell us that instead of taking Gaara-san to the woods? Neji asked, and again all eyes were on Naruto, but the blonde suspected that question also and already had an answer for it. "'Cause I need quiet, and I knew you guys would be too busy yelling at me to let me do what I needed. Case when I tried to take Gaara and you guys said I was being selfish. If I told you about what I was going to do, then you would have thought I was insane, Databeo," Naruto said with a small shrug as everyone felt the guilt set in for them. I suppose Naruto-san has a point. Well, we shouldn't have doubted our youthful friend. Thanks to him, Chiyo-sama is alive and well, and so is Gaara-san. Lee said while Guy wrapped his arm around Lee's neck. That right, Lee. We have much to thank Naruto for. He is a great shinobi, Guy said, making everyone nod in agreement with him, before they turned around. Kakashi, why are you moving so slow? Tenten asked as they saw Kakashi straggling while he sheepishly grinning. Sorry everyone. This new Sharingan takes a lot out of me, Kakashi said, as he continued to lag behind them, and to most of the others it was rather sad, and by other that meant gay. Here I come, Kakashi, Guy said as everyone turned to see Gay toss a screaming Kakashi into the air. They all sweat dropped and shivered when they saw Gay give Kakashi a piggyback ride. What the hell? Naruto asked, and Kushina agreed with her son. Grown men doing some stupid piggyback. Damn, that's creepy, Sakura said while Tenten sighed and Neji slightly scowled in annoyance. Well then, Kakashi, I will take you back to Konoha on my back, or I will do 10,000 laps around the village on my hands, Gay said as they ran off immediately, leaving everyone behind in a large state of shock. They shouldn't even be in motion, Datbane, Kushina said, making everyone nod in agreement with her before the redhead saw her son's eyes gleam. Naruto quickly rushed for his mother and picked her up bridal style quickly, making Kushina wrap her arms around her son's neck, as Naruto chuckled. Well, I'll see you guys at the village. I'm not losing to Gay, Naruto said as he ran off with Kushina yelling at her son, telling him to slow down. Tenten, Sakura, Neji, and Lee were still standing in the desert as the first three sighed. This is such a weird team, Tenten said before everyone turned to Lee. Neji? Fuck you, Lee, Neji said immediately, making everyone giggle at him as they ran off to catch up to the rest of their team. Somewhere near Akatsuki base. They got you good, Deidara-senpai, a man said with an orange mask, while another one with Zetsu chuckled at him, while Deidara rolled his eyes. Shut up, Tobi. Akatsuki are serious people. You've got no right to lecture me, Deidara said, but then Tobi looked at him before rubbing the back of his head. Oh, please don't hurt me. No hands, senpai, Tobi laughed, and Deidara twitched an eyebrow at him while he was getting his arms sewn back to his body. A shinobi's not only his arms, Tobi. One more crack like that, and I'll show you what I mean. Deidara returned while he saw the slow, not to mention agonizing, process of seeing his arms getting back together. Would you like a hand getting up, senpai? Oh wait, you don't have a hand to offer me. Ha 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 ha. Toby laughed while Zetsu sighed. That was the last crack, Black Zetsu said as he and his wight half-watched Deidara somehow bring Toby into a headlock with his legs, while the somewhat new member of Akatsuki squirmed. You still think that's funny, hmm? Deidara asked as Toby gasped, but he was virtually fine as Deidara let him go about a few minutes before. Still, I can't believe that they gave you so much trouble. Were you able to find the QB Jinchuriki? Zetsu asked, and Deidara showed great annoyance across his face. Are you fucking joking? He was nothing like Itachi said he was. I had to give a damn guess, and I'm still not sure if I was right. Damn it, I'm gonna kill Itachi next time I see him, Deidara said as Zetsu sighed. Pain-sama won't be happy to hear that, but either way it's done. Now let's go, Black Zetsu said as they walked off. Konoha. 3 days later. Izumo and Kotetsu, two Shunin gate guards, were watching the entrance to Konoha as usual with their bored expressions on their faces. Man, this job sucks. Does anything interesting happen? Izumo asked as Kotetsu flipped a kunai in his hands. I sure as hell want something to happen also, Kotetsu said to his partner before they heard yelling in the distance. Sochi slowed down Databane. Kushina yelled as Kotetsu and Izumo watched Naruto enter Konoha with his mother in his arms. That's how you do it, Databeo! Naruto yelled as Kushina shivered in his arms. She sighed and hung her mouth open while she wondered how much of her life she lost in that small speed race her son had with the others. Well, that sucks for you, Gay-sensei, but I'm first, Naruto said as Guy came up behind him. Well, second place isn't so bad, Guy said, but Naruto shook his head. No, Guy-sensei, you see. You didn't come in second. Kasan is the winner of that. You sensei are in third place, Naruto said, and Guy dropped to the ground sulking. Naruto, however, didn't enjoy his celebration long as Kushina hit him on top of the head. Naruto, if you ever do that again, I will find some many ways to kill you. Even the Shinigami won't be able to help you understand me. Kushina asked, and Naruto grinned as he kissed his mother's forehead, making her immediately blush, while her anger quickly vanished. Clear as a bell, Kasan, Naruto said as he set Kushina down, causing her to thank him, even if that thank you was near inaudible due to what Naruto just did to her. Yeah. Ow. Yeah. Well, anyway, it seems like everyone else has arrived, Kushina said as Lee, Sakura, Neji, and Tenten came up to the gates also. Phew, we made it, but that level of intensity is ridiculous, Neji said as Tenten huffed before giving a light chuckle. Oh, come on. They got us back to the village pretty damn fast, I'd say. Ten responded, and Neji simply shook his head at his teammate. Guy let Kakashi down as the Jonin wobbled a bit before regaining his balance slightly. Now then, all we have to do is report to Tsunade-sama that our mission was a success, Sakura said. But Kushina stopped her. Actually, why don't you all leave? I'm going to go have another talk with Tsunade and Kakashi about something. Sochi, why don't you head back to our house, and I'll catch up later, Kushina said, and everyone wanted to retort. But the look on Kushina's face gave no room for argument, so everyone dropped it just as easily. All right, Kasan. I'll see you later, Naruto said as he walked away. In truth, there was something he wanted to find out about, and he really wanted to find it out now. Now then, Kakashi, let us go and see Tsunade. There are some things I wanted to know, but didn't get to ask as we had an emergency, Kushina said as she grabbed Kakashi and pulled him along with her in the direction of the Hokage mansion as everyone watched her leave. Naruto, your mother is one scary woman, Tenten said, and the blonde chuckled with a nod. He couldn't help but agree with her even if he was blushing from the way she walked away with a slight sway in her hips making him gulp. Yeah, well, I'm going to go home. I think I should. See you guys later, Naruto said, wanting to hit his bed, and calmly go to sleep without a care in the world. But before that, there was something he needed to talk about with two people about something. He didn't know one of them personally, but he figured he'd rather ask. With Kushina. Kushina and Kakashi came up to the Hokage mansion and quickly opened the door. They saw Tsunade writing documents before she looked up to see Kushina and Kakashi looking at her. "Oh, I didn't know you guys were back. How did the mission go?" Tsunade asked, and Kakashi nodded. "It was a success, Hokage-sama, but it seems that Kushina would like a word with you," Kakashi said, and Tsunade raised an eyebrow while Kushina closed the door. "Try a few words, Databane. Now, Tsunade, I suggest that you order all the Anbu in this room to leave before I make them," Kushina said, making Tsunade gulp. She wondered what Kushina wanted, but a violent Kushina wasn't the best option for her right now. And she did as Kushina wanted and dismissed all the Anbu, and once Kushina felt them all leave. She grinned as she placed up a privacy seal before walking up to Tsunade, making the good Dame Hokage shrink under her gaze. "Now then, before I was interrupted that week ago, please tell me why you didn't watch my son like I asked," Kushina said, and Tsunade sweated. Kakashi wasn't sure what this had to do with him, but he'd rather stay than to have Kushina on his ass at the moment. "Hey, Kushina." "I didn't know he survived," the Tsunade started, but Kushina stopped her. She was really beyond pissed, but she didn't explode as that wouldn't do anyone any good. And she wanted her damn explanation. "Maybe. If you stayed in the village, then you would have known," Kushina said, and Tsunade narrowed her eyes as she slammed the desk with her hands. "It wasn't that easy, Kushina," Tsunade yelled, but the redhead didn't back down in the least. "Are you kidding me? You think I didn't know about Nawaki or Dan?" Kushina asked, and Tsunade widened her eyes at the mentioning of her past lover. "And her brother." "Who did you know about them?" Tsunade asked, and Kushina sighed as she recalled her memory. "Jiraiya told me. He kept saying how you were depressed that they died and how you left the village because of it. Is that your excuse?" Kushina asked, and Tsunade wanted to retort, but she stopped and sighed. "I'm sorry, Kushina. I have no excuse for why I left. I hated Konoha because of multiple reasons. Nawaki and Dan were one of them. Another was because I hated the Hokage position, and all it stood for. I found it weak, and I wanted no part in it or the village. I honestly don't have a seemingly legit reason. People lose their loved ones all the time, but they pushed forward and dealt with it. I guess I was just a bit more weak-willed than others," Tsunade said, and Kushina sighed. She brushed a hand through her hair and settled for glaring at the Hokage. "So why did you come back?" Kushina asked, and Tsunade rubbed her temples. "Your son. He really knocked some sense into me. I know I still wouldn't be back here if he didn't save me in that type of sense. I'm sorry I didn't help raise him, but I'm here now, and I do rather enjoy his company when he isn't annoying," Tsunade said with a chuckle, and Kushina sighed. She really didn't have much of anything to say after that, but then she turned to see Kakashi getting up from his chair to leave. "Don't think I'm done with you, Kakashi. You still didn't tell me why Naruto's training was so undermined," Kushina said, and Tsunade glared at Kakashi. The Jonin gulped and rubbed the back of his head. "Kushina, Naruto's training had been going well. I'm sure you know that," Kakashi said before he saw Kushina grabbed his flak jacket. "Going well? His taijutsu was atrocious. His ninjutsu was limited, and he was just all around slightly vulnerable. I had to reinvent his entire taijutsu at his age. He had certain muscle memories that were hard to get rid of because he wasn't taught right. Kakashi, you're a Jonin, and as one you are expected to teach your genin, not have them learn on their own. Both Jiraiya and I did a job that you should have done yourself. So what is your excuse?" Kushina asked, tapping her foot impatiently. Kakashi gulped, then looked down in disappointment. "I'm sorry, Kushina. Naruto was Minato sensei's son, and I know I could have done better. I knew about Naruto's taijutsu, and I knew it wasn't great. But this all started when Sasuke was going to fight Gaara in the Shunan exams, and you wanted Sasuke to be ready for him, is that right?" Kushina asked, finishing Kakashi's sentence, to which the Jonin nodded. So you were preparing Sasuke fight-in at the time unstable Jinchuriki, who Naruto still ended up beating anyway. Kakashi, if Naruto for a month could learn to use Kyuubi's chakra and use it to not only win his fight, but even take on Gaara, then I think that my son deserves at least some of your time, Kushina said, and Kakashi nodded. I understand, and I... No, Kakashi, you don't understand. Minato and I asked you to teach Naruto and make him a good shinobi that would make both his parents proud, and of course he's done that for me. But to hear that you only taught him teamwork and tree walking is very disappointing, Databane. Kushina scolded, and Kakashi took it all to heart. I'm sorry, Kushina. I have no excuses either. I'm sorry for it. I know Naruto had high potential, but Sasuke was the only one who really seemed to show his. I didn't mean to do this. I am sorry, Kakashi said before he received a huge hit on the top of his head. That's right, you're sorry, Databane, she yelled as Kakashi rubbed the lump on his head. She then turned to Tsunade and settled for a small glare as she headed to the door. Don't think you both aren't going to pay for this. Kakashi, I'll be taking over Sochi's training now, and Tsunade, I'll be talking to you about another matter that I want, Kushina said as she left the room, leaving Kakashi and Tsunade to breathe easily. She's still scary, Kakashi said, and Tsunade nodded while she started to work on documents again. Of course she is. She was, and this is the only Anbu-level shinobi who has a better record than you and Itachi. She has every right to be scary, Tsunade said as Kakashi took out his orange book while Tsunade glared at him. If she sees you with that, she's going to kill you, Tsunade said as Kakashi walked out of the room. Maya, I'll deal with that when it shows up. But I wonder what else she wanted to talk with you about, Kakashi said, while Tsunade shrugged. Hell if I know. I just know it's going to give me a big headache, Tsunade said, and Kakashi grinned before closing the door. She then looked at the Hawkage faces, or specifically Minato's face. Kushina's a pain, but she's right. I'm sorry I wasn't there for Naruto Minato, Tsunade said with a heavy sigh before she turned back to her paperwork. She could only wonder what Naruto was doing at the moment for some reason. With Naruto, he couldn't do it. For the first time in his life, he knew he couldn't do something. He refused. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to knock on the Hyuga compound. Naruto stood in front of the doors and gulped. Stop being a chicken and knock. The Hyuga should be into that type of thing also. Who knows, maybe that girl Hinata and Neji. Shut up. Don't you dare even think that about them. I know Hinata-chan and Neji. They would never do that. Naruto stalled as Kyuubi chuckled. Having second thoughts? His Biju asked, and Naruto sighed. This is so weird. I'll just get this over with, Naruto said as he knocked on the door of the Hyuga compound. Soon a Hyuga came to the door and opened it. Imagine his surprise when he saw Naruto in front of the door. Uzumaki-san, how may I help you? The Hyuga asked, and Naruto gulped. He felt his breath leave him for a few seconds, but he caught himself and nodded. Do you know if Hinata's father is here? If he's not, then that's fine, but I'd like to talk to him. It's sort of important, Datbeo, Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head in embarrassment. He had seen Hinata's father only once, and that was during the Chunin exams. He had no idea what the guy was like. Well, Uzumaki-san, Hiyashi-sama is in at the moment. I will see if you can have an audience with him, the Hyuga said as he closed the door while Naruto's eyebrow twitched. An audience? It's not like he was a damn commoner. He was actually quite rich now that he had his inheritance, which hadn't been used for about 15 years, so that actually made him and Kushina a little more than above the Hyuga clan itself. Naruto tapped his foot impatiently and gritted his teeth. There seemed to be quite a bit of arrogance with the Hyuga clan, and Naruto knew it somewhat. Soon the Hyuga came back and escorted Naruto inside. Hayashi-sama will see you. He said he has more than enough time to talk with you, the Hyuga said, and Naruto nodded. He quickly walked inside the Hyuga compound and looked around. It was rather quaint and nice looking. There was a little practice area along with a small garden and pond with koi fish swimming around. Naruto and the Hyuga walked until they were right in front of the place where Hayashi wanted to meet Naruto. The Hyuga bowed and turned around. "Hayashi-sama is right behind that door," he said as he left, and Naruto immediately opened it. He saw an older-looking Neji behind the desk, signing papers. "Uzumaki-san, please come in," Hayashi said, and Naruto walked inside. He slightly gulped and noticed two mats in front of each other. He sat down on one and watched as Hayashi finished some paperwork. He quickly stood to his feet and sat on his knees while he was in front of Naruto. "I was surprised when you wanted to come over. May I ask what you could want?" Hayashi asked, and Naruto nodded. I'm sorry if I'm imposing on you or anything, but I'd like to ask you something about your clan," Naruto said. And Hayashi nodded. The blonde gulped while Kyubi tried to settle his nerves, but he wasn't the comforting type of person, or bijou, or whatever. "All right, what would you like to know?" Hayashi asked, taking a sip of tea while Naruto tried to get his thoughts together. Well, I know that Yor has the Baikugan, and I know you try to keep the Hyuga bloodline clean. I think it is right," Naruto asked, and Hayashi nodded, although it was a bit with confusion. "Well, that's right. We don't normally marry those outside of the clan," Hayashi said, and Naruto nodded. So do you guys find anything wrong with it?" Naruto asked, and Hayashi raised an eyebrow. He set his teacup down and sighed. "Please explain," the Hyuga had said to Naruto, and the blonde slightly cursed. "Yeah, okay, I'm just saying that your family members marry?" Naruto asked, and Hayashi sort of had an idea on where this was going. He gave a mental smirk at what Naruto could want to talk with him about. "Well, Naruto-san, in a simple word, yes, our family members do marry. By any chance, is this about incest?" Hayashi asked, and the reaction Naruto gave him was more than enough to convince him as the blonde blushed up a storm. "Well, yeah, I guess it's about that. How does your family deal with it? Don't people find you weird for it?" Naruto asked, and Hayashi shrugged his shoulders. "I'm sure there are quite a few people who would find it strange, and that won't change. But there are a few reasons as to why we do this. One is, as you said, to keep the Hyuga line pure as we want. Granted, we don't force our members to marry each other, as they can date who they want. Heck, even some of our members find it weird, while others seem to like it just as well. It's sort of a touchy thing to deal with. Though I am curious as to why you would be interested in such a topic," Hayashi said, and Naruto gulped. He saw Hayashi smile slightly, and the blonde sheepishly chuckled. "Well, I just thought I'd ask Databayo. You know, always need to know something interesting. Wait, so does that mean that you..." Naruto pointed at Hayashi, and the Hyuga chuckled. "Practiced incest? Well, it's something I don't outwardly say. But since you asked, yes, I do, or rather did," Hayashi said, making Naruto slightly calm down. "Did? Hinata's mother? What was she to you?" Naruto asked, wondering if this was a sore subject for Hayashi to talk about. "Well, Hinata's mother was my half-sister. We had the same mother, but not the same father. She and Hizashi, Neji's father, were born to the side branch while I was born to the main branch. I had always known that she was my half-sister, namely, her name was Hinako. She was branded with the cage seal, as was Hizashi, but reluctantly I fell for Hinako, even though she was a side branch member. So against my clan and their opinion, I married Hinako, and she loved me too. We had Hinata and Hanabi without any problems," Hayashi said, looking out the window, and Naruto seemed fascinated by his story. "You really loved her, didn't you?" Naruto asked, and Hayashi chuckled. "Hinako was a good woman. I know that. That's why I see so much of her in Hinata and Hanabi at times. Uzuno, Naruto-san, when you're growing up in the world, there's one thing you start to see for the first time. Is that people's opinions don't matter. Granted, they matter in what you want to do with your life at times, but in the case of who you give your heart to, or who you love, then It doesn't matter in the least. Understand that you can't talk to anyone about this, Hayashi said with a glare, and Naruto grinned as he nodded. My lips are sealed, Databeo, and thank you, Hayashi-san. I also think you should talk with Neji more. He might liven up more if you do, Naruto said as he stood to his feet, while Hayashi pondered the blonde's suggestion. Well, Uzumaki-san, if you want to be with your mother, then I certainly don't mind, Hayashi said, and Naruto immediately fell back and slammed his head to the ground. How did you? How did I know? Well, I saw the redhead who first dragged you past our compound. I was astonished to see Kushina-san as I thought she died, but I checked her chakra signature and found it to be completely true that it was her. Never thought that you would have a thing for your mother. You really are unpredictable, as they say, Hayashi said, and Naruto rubbed his head. Could you not tell anyone about this? Ka-chan's already a nervous wreck about it as she is, and I don't want to push her into anything she might regret in the end, Naruto said, sighing, and Hayashi nodded. You don't tell my story, and I don't tell yours, Naruto-san? Though I don't see why she's thinking over it. If I recall correctly, then the Uzumaki clan married family members also. I don't know why she's against it, Hayashi said, and Naruto sighed. That's what he was trying to figure out at the moment. Well, I'm going to go, Hayashi-san. Thank you for the talk, Naruto said, and Hayashi nodded. He watched the blonde leave before he slowly chuckled. Uzumaki-san, you really are interesting like Hinata said you were, Hayashi said to himself before going back to his paperwork. With Naruto. The blonde walked back to his compound and thought about everything that Hayashi had told him. It wasn't like he expected anything from his mother, or maybe he did. She was easily the most beautiful woman he had known. Granted, he met a lot of women who he thought were cute. There was Sakura, Ayame, Anko, Kurenai, Koyuki, and even Hinata at one time. But his mother, there was just something about her that attracted him to her. Maybe it was all those years without a mother that made him that way, but even so, he didn't seem to care that he loved his mother. He made that evident when he kissed her back in Suna. Man, that talk gave me more questions than it solved, Naruto said to himself as he opened the door to his house. He walked inside and looked around before he noticed that he was alone. His mother must still have been out doing whatever she wanted. Alright, so what should I do now? I guess I could train. Plus, I still have to get Gaara's other kill, or he'll be taken by next week today. Let me see, how can I do this? Naruto wondered as figured he could just take a mission on it, but that wouldn't be an appropriate thing to do at the moment since he just got back. The blonde sat on the bed of his room while he slowly took off his clothes. He was about to get into his training outfit before he heard the door downstairs unlock, open, and then close. He figured his mother was home at the moment. However, he noticed that she didn't come upstairs. Naruto knew about his mother's sensory skills, so she must have noticed that he was home also. Well, I guess I'll do some training, Naruto said, about to open the door. But as he did, he saw his mother right in front of the door, which scared the living hell out of him. How quiet could his mother walk to the point that he still thought she was downstairs? Hey, Ka-san. I didn't hear you come up the stairs. What did you have to talk with Kakashi-sensei about? Naruto asked, and Kushina rubbed the back of her head. Just some nonsense to take care of. Nothing too interesting, Kushina responded, and Naruto settled for a quick nod. Well, I'm going to go train for a bit. I'll see you later, Naruto said as he walked past her as he noticed his mother wanted to say something else. But he left before she could say what she wanted, which made Kushina sigh. She knew her son was giving her the space she wanted to think, but she didn't want him to avoid her. That just made it uncomfortable. Okay, so she couldn't lie. When her son kissed her, it was great, perfect even. It was one of the greatest kisses she had in her life, but to receive it from your son seemed wrong for a reason. Kushina watched Naruto head into the fields to train the day away, and while he did that, she stayed in her room thinking things over. Nighttime. Naruto dropped his sword as he dismissed his clones. He was sweating profusely and sighed. He still couldn't get the technique that the shinigami was teaching him. It seemed like a joke that his sword could use some spiritual fire that was incapable of being extinguished. It sounded like a really bad jutsu technique. Well, Shin has never been one for jokes, and he doesn't have a sense of humor, as I've found out over the years. So I guess that's that, Naruto said, before he felt a presence behind him. He narrowed his eyes and formed a grin. You know, if you're just going to sneak up behind me, then what's the point in me holding this contract anyway? Naruto asked as he turned around to see the shinigami looking at him with its hardening gaze. At least you're starting to learn what you need to learn. Remember not to get overconfident. Those with arrogance don't interest me, and I trust that you know how I feel about that. Now then, on to something more important, the shinigami said, and Naruto nodded. You mean other than the fact that you played me with that ability back in Suna? Naruto asked, and Shin sighed. One ability at a time, and I won't give you something that's over your head. I know you can handle more. I will give you more. Nothing more, nothing less, Shinigami said, and Naruto settled for a simple nod. Alright, so what do you want to talk about? Naruto asked, and the shinigami narrowed his eyes. I'm here to tell you that there are people, perversions of life that I want dead. As I've told you, everything dies at some point, but you humans are quite accepted to the idea of eternal life. I never understood why you lot want to live forever until the end of time, but that irks me to no end. People who think they can escape my grasp are made to have the full blunt of my rage, but even I have limits. Contrary to your belief, I can't take your life while you're alive. It's only when your soul starts to dwindle that I can do this. The shinigami explained, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. But 2 years ago you told me about the fight you and Gigi had with the Shodaime Hokage and Nidaime, and how you sealed their souls. They were alive, weren't they? Naruto asked, and Shin nodded in a small agreement. Technically, yes, they were, but those who have been in my domain are still classified as dead unless I say so. The people you've revived aren't dead, as I've revived them myself. That jutsu, the Ito Tensei, doesn't fully revive anyone, so I'm well within my power to take back those souls back. Shin answered, and Naruto nodded in agreement with him. So, that's where I come in, since I can do it for you, right? Naruto asked, and the shinigami nodded. He carefully placed his hand on Naruto's head, making the blonde raise an eyebrow. He gasped when saw multiple people flash through his head. He saw 2 in black robes with red clouds on them, same as that Deodara guy Naruto had seen. One had weird tendrils come from his arms, while the other had a triple blade scythe in his hands. 2 were who Naruto knew all too well. He saw Orochimaru and Kabuto. He could only imagine the day that he would fight them and bring them down. Lastly was a figure who was distorted. His entire face was covered except for one orange mask that covered his entire face, only revealing one eye. The shinigami removed his arm, and Naruto dropped to the ground. Those people, I know 2 of them, but the others I don't. They're the ones who do this, Naruto asked, and the death god nodded, making Naruto sigh. Well, Orochimaru and Kabuto. I've always wanted to give them one, so I'll be more than happy to do it. I understand, Shin, Naruto said, and Shin nodded before leaving the blonde in the dark. Well, Brad, I think things will get most interesting for us, QB said. And Naruto nodded. He grinned like mad before heading back to the house. He noticed the light on in the bedroom of the upper room and sighed. He walked up the stairs and gulped as he stopped at the door. He suddenly got a weird sense of déjà vu from this experience. He knocked on the door, waiting for a reply. Just a second, Sochi, Kushina said as Naruto placed his ear to the door. He heard the sound of drying hair and the slip of something nice. He wondered if his mother was getting dressed for bed, which he figured he should also. He smelled like he had just been put through the jungle twice. Okay, you can come in, Kushina said as she had her back to the door. She was calmly humming while she brushed her hair. Naruto sighed as he went to his corner of the bed and placed his sword down. He quickly began to head for the door before Kushina stopped him. Naruto, when you come from the shower, we need to talk, Kushina said, making it sound ominous, but Naruto merely nodded and left as he headed for the shower. He didn't take a long one, or as long as he wanted since he was wondering what she wanted to talk about. He allowed the water to wash over his form for a bit and contemplated everything. He turned off the water and quickly put on some boxers and a sleeveless t-shirt. He came back into the room to see his mother at the foot of the bed, and she patted it for him to sit next to her. Naruto sat down, and Kushina mumbled to herself before turning to her son. Naruto, about what you told me a few days ago back in Suna. I was initially surprised at your confession. Don't think that I hate you or that I avoided you. You know I love you, right? Kushina asked, and Naruto lowered his gaze to the ground. First the shinigami, now his mother. This just wasn't his day. But only as your son, Naruto said, making Kushina pause. She slowly leaned her head on Naruto's shoulder, making Naruto take in the soothing smell of his mother's hair. Why do you want me to love you more than that? I don't understand, so help me, Kushina told him, and Naruto sighed. He rubbed the back of his head and thought it over. Because I want to be with you, mother. I don't want to force you into anything you wouldn't want, but I just love everything about you. The way you move, your smile, your upset face, and everything else. No one has ever made me feel that way, not even Sakura, Naruto said, and Kushina trembled underneath his words. That's it, kid. Now go on the attack, QB yelled, watching everything go down. This was better than all the destruction he could cause. Well, it wasn't better, but it was a close second to it. Naruto, you don't love me. You're only looking for some attention that you didn't get. Maybe you find that in me. It's understandable, Kushina said, and Naruto widened his eyes and stayed silent. It had been well over a minute, and Naruto still didn't say anything. Kushina found the silence deafening, and wondered if she should really take that back. But it's not like it would do any good now. Naruto, aren't you going to say something? Kushina asked in desperation of getting her son to talk to her. Naruto's eyes shadowed his eyes before he finally opened his mouth. Attention isn't the issue, Ka-chan. You might not believe it, but I'll prove it to you that I do, Naruto said as he grabbed his mother's shoulders, bringing her eyes to his. Kushina gasped at the initial action as she expected Naruto to kiss her again, but to her surprise and slight disappointment, he stopped. Ka-chan, you said that most of society sees incest as wrong, right? Naruto asked, and Kushina slowly nodded, and Naruto sighed. So how do you think clans keep their bloodline pure? Naruto asked, and Kushina stuttered. Her son just tried to find his own way around her words. She wasn't sure if she should be proud or scared of the fact. Naruto. That's a totally different matter, Kushina said, and Naruto shook his head before smiling. I went to the Hyuga compound, and do you know what Hayashi-san told me? Naruto asked, and Kushina shook her head, feeling her heart slightly twist. He said that when growing up, you start to learn that people's opinion doesn't matter. I'm sure the Uchiha clan did it also. Hayashi-san even told me that maybe the Uzumaki did also. Ka-chan. I refuse to let you be alone. I'm not trying to take Two-san's place, but I want you to love me for me. My kiss to you back in Suna was unexpected to me also, but I don't regret it. Naruto paused as he snaked his arm around Kushina's waist. Then if I wasn't your son, would you love me? Naruto asked her, and Kushina mentally gulped. Now, it was her turn to be silent, as she was quickly losing her ground in the conversation. It was amazing that the woman who never lost an argument with her former lover, but now she could barely find her voice with her son. She'd never been courted so much before by anyone. Naruto even went so far as to get someone else's opinion on the matter to try and convince her. But Naruto... No. That's Ka-chan, Naruto said as he quickly kissed her again, just like he did a few days ago in Suna. Kushina gasped as she tried to push Naruto off, but to her surprise her son grabbed her arms, keeping her still. Kushina felt her mind spiral out of control, along with her feelings. She could feel her son's emotions pouring out for her as he deepened the kiss with her. Naruto slowly started to push his mother, and before long he pinned her to the bedroom wall. Naruto, what do you see in me? Kushina asked as Naruto stopped for a second. He smiled as he licked his lips, making his mother slightly gulp. I see a beautiful woman with awesome red hair, an amazing personality, and a kindness that attracts me to her. My mother is an amazing woman, Databeo, Naruto said, and Kushina widened her eyes. Kushina felt her hands shake as they started to get weak along with the last of her resolve, while Naruto's tongue begged for some acceptance, and little by little, Kushina opened her mouth to allow her son the access he wanted. Naruto grinned as he quickly made the kiss more passionate between them as he reached behind his mother's head to bring her closer. Inside his mind, Kyuubi was jumping up and down like a maniac while eating some popcorn. Yeah, Kit, get it done. This is getting good, Kyuubi thought as Naruto separated from Kushina, making her slightly whimper. Her actions were completely betraying her thoughts. She admitted to being sexually frustrated, and her was someone willing to make her happy and provide that for her. Her mind yelled for her to stop and try to get back the mother-son relationship that they should have, but her body refused to push Naruto away from her. It more or less brought him closer, like she didn't want him to leave her alone. Naruto nibbled on his mother's right ear, getting a small moan from her, which was pleasant to his ears. Naruto hadn't imagined that he could bring his mother to this state. He rubbed one of his hands along her curves while Kushina gasped. And Naruto. You need to stop, Kushina said as she felt her son's hand go up to her nightgown. She quickly gasped again as she grabbed her son's hand and pushed him off her. Her breathing hitched as she tried to find a way to calm down. Huh? Naruto asked, and Kushina's breathing slowed. She huffed and looked at her son. She slowly calmed down and looked at the bed. She looked, in a word, confused, like she was lost in her own feelings. Naruto, I can't stay in this room with you. I'm going to sleep in the guest room from now on. I don't think that we should be around each other for a couple of days, Kushina said as she got up and carried herself away. But, Ka-chan, Naruto tried to say before he saw Kushina close the door. Wow! Never saw that coming, Kyuubi said in thought, as Naruto sighed. He narrowed his eyes at the bed and slightly cursed. Kuso, Naruto said as he stayed on his side of the bed. Both he and Kushina didn't get any sleep that night as they went over everything that happened between them. 3 days later, Naruto was walking towards the Hokage mansion with a heavy sigh. It had been 3 days since their moment, but him and his mother stopped talking and avoided each other. Kushina would still cook him breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and she would spare with him for a few hours, but nothing apart from that had changed. Naruto even had a mission by himself to deal with some bandits, and the blonde took it, with little to no enthusiasm, which Kakashi, Sakura, and Tsunade noticed. But on that note, Naruto had gotten the other sacrifice for Gaara's life, and that was the end of that. But as he got back, he was told that there was another mission for him, so he was currently on his way. Naruto didn't waste any time as he walked up the stairs. He slowly sighed as he opened the door. To his surprise, he saw his mother, Kakashi, and Sakura in the room. Kushina glanced at him before removing her stare from him, just as fast as she looked at him. Tsunade looked at the both of them and rolled her eyes. Something was going on between these two, but they could figure it out themselves. Finally, brat, you made it. Now I can tell you some new news, Tsunade said, and Naruto stayed a couple of feet from his mother. But Tsunade ignored it. All right, Tsunade-bakan, what is the news? Naruto asked, and Tsunade sighed. Well, for one, you're not going to be a part of Team 7 anymore, Tsunade said, and Naruto widened his eyes along with Kakashi and Sakura. But why? What did I do? Naruto asked, and Tsunade rubbed her temples. Tsunade-sama, Naruto has always been a part of our team. Why are you splitting us up? We might not be the best team, but we work well with each other, Sakura reasoned, and Tsunade nodded. Sakura, calm down. It's not as heavy as you think it is. As it stands by Kushina's standards, Naruto is a Kenjutsu master, making him one of 4 shinobi who are above Jonin level for using Kenjutsu. There is him, Kushina, Kakashi, and our Anbu, Yuga Uzuki, Tsunade said, and Sakura raised an eyebrow. You want to put together a group of Kenjutsu users? She asked, making Tsunade chuckle slightly, but she shook her head. That's not it, Sakura, and while that is an interesting thought, I'll set it aside. As for my orders, since they have the most trust and teamwork, I'll have Naruto and Kushina paired up for the time being," Tsunade said as Kushina and Naruto widened their eyes. Naruto spared a glance at his mother, who looked at him also. "Are you sure, Bachan? I'd rather not trouble my mother if I can help it," Naruto said, and Kushina slowly calmed down, if only slightly, at those words, as a small smile graced her face. Even in their situation, she could still laugh and smile at how concerned Naruto was for her and her wants. "It's all right, Sochi. I don't mind it if we're a team. I trust you more than a lot of people," Kushina said, and Naruto slowly nodded, wondering what the change of attitude was. "All right then, as for you and Kakashi Sakura, the both of you will be given 2 new teammates as of today, but for your mission. Kakashi, Sakura, you and your new team are going to intercept the messenger at the bridge that Sasori told you about. You are to arrive there fast. I wanted any information about Orochimaru to be dealt with swiftly. You leave in an hour," Tsunade told them, making Kakashi and Sakura nod. They both turned to Naruto and sighed. "Meh. Naruto shinobi have different experiences, so I'm sure you'll be fine," Kakashi said as he left Naruto, then turned to Sakura. "I'll find out all I can about Sasuke for us, Naruto," Sakura said as she left with Naruto rolling his eyes. "Not gonna respond to that one. No way," Naruto said in thought, making Kyuubi chuckle. "Are you kidding? 2 years ago it was, I'm gonna bring him back Iro-sen, even if I am a fool for the rest of my natural life. Granted, yes, you are a fool and an idiot, but you're interesting enough," Kyuubi said, and Naruto snorted. "Ah, Kyuubi. I didn't know you cared enough to find me interesting," Naruto said, and Kyuubi snarled. "Aha, keep cracking jokes, brat. I'll kick your ass one of these days," Kyuubi said to his container while Naruto giggled. "Bring it on, furball," Naruto responded before he snapped out of his stupor, and back to Tsunade. "Attention at the 2 Kenjutsu users. Now then, Kushina, Naruto, this mission will be in a ranked one, given that the chance of danger is very high and likely. You will both be infiltrating one of Orochimaru's bases that our Anbu have recently discovered," Tsunade said, making the 2 widen their eyes. "The odds of meeting Orochimaru are high, and it's also possible that Sasuke might be there. Naruto, Kushina, your mission is to find out anything you can from this base that is of importance to Konoha. If you find Sasuke, you are to apprehend him and return him to Konoha. You leave in a few hours. Any questions?" Tsunade asked, making Kushina and Naruto shake their heads. "Good, then you can both be off, and please no problems," Tsunade said as Kushina and Naruto stared at each other. Both diverted their gazes while Naruto spoke. "Any problems, Kachan?" Naruto asked, and Kushina shook her head. "No problems, Sochi," Kushina said as Naruto opened the door and allowed his mother to walk out with him, following while Tsunade sighed. "There's going to be problems. I need a drink," the goddamn Hokage said in thought as she signed some documents while thinking about Naruto and Kushina for some reason. Kushina and Naruto were currently running through the trees at a breakneck pace. They had just left Konoha a few hours ago and were on their way to Orochimaru's hidden lair that was uncovered by Anbu. Both weren't sure to be lucky to have something to do or unlucky in the small fact that after 3 days of somewhat avoiding each other, they were now on the same team. And it would stay like that. The only benefit or non-benefit to this was that neither could say anything to the other. They were right beside each other in terms of speed, but the need to say anything was quickly erased. They promised Tsunade no problems, but now they were both regretting such a thing. "There is nothing to talk about here. We haven't even gone over a plan of action against Orochimaru. I wonder what Naruto-kun is thinking," Kushina thought as she stole a glance at her son. She saw Naruto looking more at the ground than what was in front of him, but she also saw him mumbling to himself about something that she couldn't hear. The redhead sighed and continued to look back in front of her. She never imagined that things could get out of control this fast. Meanwhile, Naruto was talking with Kyuubi about some of the things that happened also. He really wasn't in his best interest to leave things like this. While he had thought about the mission and the dangers they would face, he just could bring himself to worry about it at that time. "Kyubi, this can't go on. I don't want her to ignore me," Naruto told his Biju, and the Kyubi sighed while he roamed his hellish domain. "Give her some time, brat. Over the years, I still can't figure out you humans or your sense of morals," Kyubi said. And Naruto rolled his eyes. "Morals? Humans suck at morals. It's immoral to do so much stuff that it might as well be hypocritical. So what am I supposed to do?" Naruto asked, and Kyubi chuckled. "Hearing you whine about no getting it on with your mother, it's downright satisfying. All the time you've been going after her. Be a fox kid. Do something unexpected and make her come to you. It's not that hard, sheesh. Then you will be a motherfucker. No pun intended," Kyubi said, and Naruto sighed. "Something unexpected." He kissed her and he slightly groped her. How much more unexpected could he get? Easier said than done. But all right, Naruto said as he and Kushina ran through the trees. But then the blonde became slightly curious. He did have a second opinion, but he wouldn't mind one more just for good measure. "All right then, Kyubi. All jokes aside, and we're being serious here. What do you think of human morals and incest?" Naruto asked, really wanting to know his Biju's opinion, which came quite fast as Kyubi didn't hesitate with his answer. And while Naruto couldn't see him, he could tell that Kyubi was being serious. "Never pegged you for being serious, brat. But all right. All jokes aside, I'll sum it all up in one word. Unnecessary. Your human morals are insignificant. One thing I found is that you'll say something and mean the other. You're also confusing, it's pathetic. Take, for instance, killing. I like it, but this isn't about me. You humans kill each other every day, and yet you find it immoral. But that's to protect. Please, I know human nature more than you do. If you're looking for my opinion, then I'll just say that if you love your mother, then I see nothing wrong with it. Heck, as far as I'm concerned, at least you like a woman. Anything else and I'd kill you myself," Kyubi said, and Naruto silently chuckled. "Well, you don't have to worry about that," Naruto said, and Kyubi nodded with a small grin on his face. The rest of the trip was done in silence as Naruto and Kushina stopped to rest in a small part of the forest. Tomorrow, they would be in Kasagakure. Kushina lit a small fire and the two were currently sitting at opposite ends. They looked at the fire for a little while, but with all their might they both tried not to look at each other directly, and that was the last straw for Naruto. "Gah, Ka-chan, I can't take this. We need to talk now, Datbeo," Naruto told her, making Kushina look up in surprise of her son's outburst. She gently smiled and nodded. "I was waiting for one of us to say something also. I don't like silence, Sochi." "So, what should we talk about?" Kushina asked, and Naruto. He was just happy to hear Mother's voice again. Maybe we should form a plan for when we arrive tomorrow," Naruto suggested, not seeing much of anything else to talk about. "Well, we're not one for strategies, Sochi. You know me, I rush in and strategize later. That's how I've always done things," Kushina said with a small giggle, and Naruto sighed. "Me neither. Sakura and Kakashi went to the Tenshi Bridge, so there is a chance that we'll get lucky," Naruto said, and Kushina nodded. She watched her son get up and almost tensed, but he only walked over to where their backpacks were and rummaged through them. Kushina raised an eyebrow before she saw Naruto take out a small scroll. He placed it in front of her and smiled. "Let's go with this. We've never tried it before," Naruto told her, and Kushina narrowed her eyes. "That's because you didn't have the speed required to use this strategy," Kushina said, looking over the small scroll, but Naruto waved her off. "I do now thanks to you and Iro Sennin. I could never get where I was without you." "Ka-chan," Naruto told her, and Kushina was lucky that the flames of the fire covered the searing blush on her face. The Uzumaki woman slowly gulped before rubbing the back of her head. "Well, I am a good teacher. Maybe we should go to sleep now. We still have some traveling to do, Kushina said, and Naruto agreed. But he didn't miss that small stutter and grinned even if he didn't know what he said to make her stutter like that. The two soon fell asleep just as easily and continued into the morning, but Naruto found something wrong. Kushina seemed to be more tired than usual. She constantly yawned and seemed out of focus. Ka-chan? Are you all right? Naruto asked and Kushina looked at him. She softly blushed before turning her head. Yeah, I'm fine. Let's hurry up, she said as she ran further ahead, and Naruto wondered what her problem was. Even Kyuubi wanted to know as he'd never seen something so weird before like that. Well, that's weird. I wonder what happened last night, Naruto said to himself as he and Kushina ran forward towards their destination. With Team 7. Ugh, Kakashi-sensei, Sakura asked, and Kakashi chuckled as they saw their new teammates, which consisted of a pale teenager in some Anbu armor, and the other one Sakura didn't remember. Some Chunin she might have worked with before. Mama, Sakura. We're already here and our contact is here also, Kakashi said as he hanged into a perfect form of Sasori's puppet. Sakura and her teammate stayed back while Kakashi went forward. The Haruno girl could only hope that she could get information from them about Sasuke. They had to bring him home. Kakashi walked out to the bridge and narrowed his eyes. He was looking at Kabuto, who had a small grin on his face. It's good that you made it, Kakashi said in a gruff voice that Sakura had told him about. Kabuto nodded with a bow to his master. Greetings, Sasori-sama. I have the intel on Orochimaru-sama, just like you asked. We should keep our meeting brief, Kabuto said. And Kakashi nodded. He decided to ask about Sasuke since he knew that Sakura would chew his ear off if he didn't. I heard that you acquired Sasuke Uchiha. Where is he? Kakashi asked, and Kabuto slightly narrowed his eyes. He gave a small, unnoticeable grin across his face. He's doing well, but we better hurry. Orochimaru could be here at any time, Kabuto said, and Kakashi tensed. He didn't know what would happen if they ran into Orochimaru all the way out here. He had no idea that his worst fears were about to be realized as said Snake Sannin appeared behind Kabuto. Mind if I join in the conversation? Orochimaru asked, and Kabuto widened his eyes. He jumped back and the Sasori hanged Kakashi drew a kunai in an attack position. Well, isn't this interesting? It seems that I found something nice, Orochimaru said, while Kabuto formed a chakra blade with his hands. Sasori-sama. If we hurry, then we can take him, Kabuto said, trying to sound optimistic. But Kakashi could feel something wrong. Is this your answer, Kabuto? Orochimaru asked, and Kabuto raised his arm to attack. Kakashi gasped as Kabuto slashed at him, making the Jonin backflip away from them. Ah, Kakashi, it's a pleasure to meet you. Now why don't you call out your little group so we can have some fun, Orochimaru said, and Kakashi narrowed his eyes. He sighed and waved his hands. Sakura, Sai, as he told them, and the Chunin came out in battle-ready positions. Well, Orochimaru, I think now would be a good time for you to know that we don't give up easily, Kakashi said, and Orochimaru chuckled. I'm sure. Sasuke is such a delight to have around, Orochimaru said, and Sakura see. She tightened her fist and covered it in chakra. I'm gonna make you tell me where is his right now. The pink-haired Kunoichi yelled, and before Kakashi could stop her, Sakura charged at the Snake Sannin, looking to make him talk at once. With Naruto and Kushina, the two Uzumaki were staring at a small entrance. It seemed rather inconspicuous, but that was fine. Kushina touched a small stone and closed her eyes. She could feel multiple chakra signatures behind the wall in front of her, and smiled. This is it, Sochi. There are a few chakra signatures behind here, but nothing we can't handle or take down. I also know this place is multi-layered. It might be a small maze, so don't get lost, Kushina said, and Naruto chuckled. Speak for yourself, Ka-chan, Naruto as he took out his sword. He mumbled some words, and his sword glowed for a bit. He stabbed it into the wall and cut a circle into the stone. The mother and son duo watched the stone fall to the ground with a perfect hole through the wall. Naruto grinned while he stepped to the side. "After you, Kaya-chan," Naruto said, and Kushina giggled for a change. She stepped inside and Naruto followed also. They saw the multiple halls filled with candles, while the brown walls formed the maze that Kushina had talked about. "You know, Ka-chan, when you were talking about multiple signatures, I expected someone right away. But I don't see anyone," Naruto said, and Kushina nodded. "Well, Sochi, we can figure that out later. Right now we have to go," Kushina said, running ahead, and Naruto followed her. They quickly ran through the halls and checked the various doors around the floors. Naruto opened one door and saw it was empty. "Kuso, where is everybody?" Naruto wondered, and Kushina narrowed her eyes as she looked at a piece of paper on the wall. She growled and immediately tore it off. "This is why, Naruto-kun. They set up a small seal that messed with my sensory capabilities. There is probably only one or two people in this place," Kushina told him, and Naruto sighed. He looked around the place before he closed the door to the empty room. "Well then, I think we should split up. We'll stay in contact by using our chakra sensory skills. I'll go this way and you go that way. If you run into trouble, then just spike your chakra and I'll help," Naruto told her, and Kushina gave a small grin. "Shouldn't I be the one saying that?" she asked, and Naruto rolled his eyes. "No, I'm the one who should be saying it, but it doesn't matter. Good luck, Ka-san," Naruto said, and the two ran off in separate directions. Naruto ran down the stairs and Kushina to a hall to the right. Naruto huffed as he checked room after room. He must have been going through them all and wondered how many he had already done. The blonde was getting irritated and looked around a little more. Before long, he stopped and opened a door. He looked inside and narrowed his eyes. It looked like a lab of some sorts. The blonde walked inside and saw containers all around. Some filled with strange liquids and others filled with some type of thing he didn't know. "Well, I'll say this much for the pedo. He sure keeps a lot of stuff. I wonder what all this is for," Naruto said, thinking out loud, and Kyuubi decided to respond. "Who knows how his ass thinks? I think you should take some sample stuff. Who knows? Maybe you'll be able to do something with it," Kyuubi suggested, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. He reluctantly nodded and grabbed a vial. He looked at it for a bit. He sighed and placed it away for later. He also saw some notes on the table. They looked complicated, so he didn't try to figure any of it out. Naruto just took out a scroll and sealed away all the notes he could find before exiting the room. "Oh, one more thing," Naruto said as he summoned two Kage Bunshin. They both entered the room and Naruto closed the door. He grinned as he heard a yell. "Rasengan!" His clones yelled as they destroyed the lab, making it explode, which made Kyuubi grin while he rested on the molten ground around him. "Adding your own touch to things. That's a good job on ya," Kyuubi said, and Naruto appreciated the compliment. He quickly ran down the rest of the halls and stopped at a door. He stopped to rest and looked around. He was no closer to finding anything else in here. He doubted he'd run into Sasuke, and truth be told, he'd rather not. Naruto had really changed his opinion of actually getting Sasuke back. Granted, yeah, he wanted to bring the Uchiha back to Konoha. He didn't mind that at all. What he minded was the fact Sakura was letting it obsess with her, and he wanted no part of that. He had his own dreams, and if Sasuke could pursue his, then why the hell shouldn't he pursue his own? Sigh, why am I even thinking about that team? "I guess I'll check this room," Naruto said to himself. He opened the door and narrowed his eyes. He saw someone sleeping in the bed and sighed. He looked down the person's form. He had a white top half of an obi robe and blue pants, with a purple sash around his waist. He also had the same hair as always. That damn duck-ass-shaped looking hair. "Kyuubi," Naruto said, making the nine-tailed Biju stir. "What is it, brat?" The Biju asked, getting interested before he saw what Naruto was looking at, and since he heard Naruto's thoughts, he only did one thing. He laughed like a maniac, which made Naruto's eyebrow twitch. Kami hates me, Naruto said in thought as he slammed the door open, waking up the person in the bed. It had to be Sasuke. Of all the people he could meet at the moment, it had to fucking be Sasuke. Speaking of Sasuke, the Uchiha sighed as he refused to turn around. Whoever you are, I'm in a bad mood, so get lost, Sasuke said, and Naruto chuckled. I didn't think you ever had a good mood. 10, Naruto said, and immediately Sasuke opened his eyes. He turned around and glared at Naruto with his Sharingan flaring. The blonde wasn't intimidated as his eyes grew in coldness. Sasuke slightly flinched at them but managed to shake it off. He stood to his feet and sighed. So you're still chasing me, huh? You haven't gotten stronger, Naruto. All of that time finding me could have been used in training, Sasuke said, and Naruto closed his eyes. Oh, this was too good. Don't think so damn high of yourself, teammate. I didn't expect to find you here, but now that you're here in front of me, I could still care less. I'm done going after you, but that doesn't mean I'll just let you leave like you probably want, Naruto responded, and Sasuke placed a hand on his hip. He carefully grabbed his sword that was strapped to his waist and settled for a simple glare at Naruto. Well, it seems that you've grown up slightly, even if you are a brat, Sasuke said as he vanished. He appeared behind Naruto, making the blonde turn his head. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki chuckled as Sasuke charged at him. He drew his sword and easily parried Sasuke's blow, making the Uchiha widen his eyes. It seems you're still the same though, but I'll show you my training, Naruto said as he backflipped into the hall. Sasuke followed him out, and the two quickly clashed at each other. Sasuke tried to slash at Naruto, but the blonde dodged it easily with a small pivot of his foot. He quickly jumped from the wall and ran down the corner. Sasuke narrowed his eyes and followed after Naruto. He had to admit that the blonde was a lot faster. It seems you've gotten better at running, Sasuke said, and Naruto stopped. They both looked around the room and saw it was a rather large area. I guess this'll do, the blonde said as he turned around to Sasuke. The two stared at each other and Naruto took out his sword again. Sasuke eyed it before he smirked. I see you've got a sword too, Dobe. You trying to match me or something? Sasuke said, and Naruto nodded with a simple shrug. It's really fun, but I didn't come here to talk with you, Naruto said, and Sasuke cackled before Naruto charged at Sasuke. The two clashed again, and their swords rang through the place. Naruto dodged a kick from Sasuke, and the Uchiha dodged a punch from the blonde. They both glared at each other before Sasuke backed away from Naruto. The blonde found the time to regroup his stance before he saw Sasuke disappear in a blur of speed. Naruto narrowed his eyes before he ducked, avoiding another kick to his face, and slammed his hand on the ground. He pushed himself up, sending his feet crashing into Sasuke's chin, making the Uchiha wince before he stepped away from Naruto. You're a lot faster, Sasuke remarked, and Naruto nodded. He closed his eyes for a bit and grinned. Cage. Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said in thought, and immediately a clone appeared next to him. The clone drew its own sword, and immediately the two with Sasuke making the Uchiha growl. Naruto grinned as he sent Sasuke flying with a punch, but not before Sasuke dispelled his clone with kick. You're a lot slower, teen. I remember you being faster, Naruto taunted, and Sasuke cursed before releasing his Sharingan again. He went through some hand signs and yelled, Katan! Gokakyu no Jutsu! Sasuke yelled, sending the fireball at Naruto. The blonde wasn't intimidated as he charged at the fire. He quickly covered his sword in a white glow and slashed at the fireball, making it split in two. Sasuke widened his eyes as Naruto jumped in the air. Where are you looking, Sasuke? Naruto asked, and the Uchiha turned around, but it was too late. Rasengan, Naruto's clone roared, slamming the ball into Sasuke's form. The Uchiha winced at the pain before he was blasted away from Naruto. The two stared at each other as Sasuke saw 3 Narutos instead of the one. What happened to him using hand signs? Is this a joke? Sasuke wondered as he got to his feet. All 3 Narutos charged at Sasuke, and the brunette was getting frustrated. He quickly coated his sword in lightning, making Naruto stop. But his clones went on. Sasuke slammed to the ground, and Naruto snarled for a bit. Chidori Nagashi! Chidori current, Sasuke yelled, sending the lightning racing through the ground. It quickly dispelled the electrocuted clones and made its way to Naruto. The blonde gasped and jumped to the side, narrowly avoiding it. But Sasuke's control of the lightning was still good as he made it turn around and head back for the blonde. Naruto cursed before he started to run. The lightning shot forward, but Naruto dodged to the side. It tried again, but Naruto easily maneuvered through it, making Sasuke frustrated. "I'll show you, Dobe," Sasuke said, sending a wave of lightning at the blonde. Naruto skidded away before he thought his jutsu. Cage. Bunshin no jutsu, Naruto yelled in thought, and immediately a wall of clones separated him from Sasuke. The clones took the full charge of lightning and a smoke cloud appeared, making Sasuke cover his eyes. He watched the smoke dispel only to see a shadow of Naruto doing his own hand signs. What? Did you think that Naruto didn't have any ninjutsu to his name? Futon. Shinkushoha, wind release, vacuum palm waves, Naruto yelled, sending 3 huge wind discs at Sasuke. The Uchiha widened his eyes and quickly dodged the discs accurately, but he took his eyes off Naruto, and that earned him a slam to the face, sending the Uchiha barreling across the ground before he managed a small rebound and got to his feet. Sasuke sucked his teeth, and Naruto sighed. You really haven't changed at all. Before I do actually get serious, why don't you answer this question? Naruto said, and Sasuke raised an eyebrow. He seemed like he would, so Naruto decided to continue. Why didn't you kill me? You had the perfect chance, and you didn't. Naruto asked, even though he knew that technically Sasuke did kill him. It was only thanks to the shinigami that he was even here right now. Sasuke closed his eyes as he thought back to his brother. Don't show your face to me unless you have eyes like mine. Kill your best friend. Sasuke remembered those words, and they irked him to no end. He opened his eyes and... I had no desire to. You were weak, and killing you wouldn't give me anything. And I'll never use his way of getting power, Sasuke said, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. He must have been talking about a deity. How great was that? But I'll make up that mistake now and kill you without any hope of you being alive, Sasuke said as he charged at Naruto. The blonde sighed as he closed his eyes. He waited for Sasuke to get closer and closer. When Sasuke was right in front of him, the blonde surprised the Uchiha as his blade pierced his chest. Sasuke widened his eyes to when Naruto grabbed him into a hug. You really are still gullible, Naruto said, and Sasuke watched the blonde fall from the ceiling. Naruto smirked as he held up a hand sign. Kai, the blonde said, and immediately an explosion happened near Sasuke, shaking the entire building. Naruto got to his feet and saw Sasuke. He glared his Sharingan at the blonde and growled. Damn you, Dobe. When did you make a kage bunshin? Sasuke asked, and Naruto shook his head. Not a kage bunshin, a Bakudan bunshin. It comes in handy. Now that I've got your attention, then you'll have no choice but to listen to me, Naruto said, and Sasuke narrowed his eyes. The blonde sighed and decided to choose his words carefully. Sasuke winced in pain, and really needed the time, so he decided to hear Naruto out. Is there any chance that you'd come back to Konoha? Naruto asked. He really didn't care if Sasuke said yes or not. But on the chance he did say yes, then he'd be willing to try some things and make his life a bit more enjoyable. Sasuke snorted and rolled his eyes at Naruto's question. It seems that the blonde hadn't grown up at all. It was being a pain to have to try and tell it to him all the time. No way, Dobe. There is nothing for me in Konoha, and I sure as hell refuse to go back for anything, Sasuke said, and Naruto gave a hidden smirk. What about a mother? Naruto asked, and Sasuke raised an eyebrow. He immediately stayed silent, and Naruto grinned. He knew he just got the Uchiha in a small spot. What the hell are you spouting, Dobe? I have no mother. My mother is dead, gone, and she isn't coming back, Sasuke said, and the Uzumaki blonde chuckled. Oh, this was too easy to be real. Naruto had to restrain himself from laughing. What if I said that I could bring back on Uchiha hour of your whole clan for you? I could revive them and they'd be able to walk, talk, and do all the things you do, Naruto said, and Sasuke snarled. He charged at Naruto with his sword, but the blonde expected this and the two clashed with each other. Don't you dare insult the Uchiha, Dobe. Now make sense or I kill you, Sasuke said to him, and Naruto did a sweep kick, knocking off Sasuke's balance. Calm down, Teamy. As I said, looking at your options right now, I still have more than enough fight, and I'm sure you do also, but you've taken more damage. I could easily take you back, have them throw you in prison, and let that be the end of it. However, unlike you, I'm not that cold, so I'm giving you the small chance to get someone precious back, Naruto told him, and Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Why should I believe you? You're not the fucking shinigami, Sasuke said, and Naruto sighed. Look here, Team A, I'll make this simple. You come back, you get someone back. You don't, then I force you back and put you in prison where you can stay in there and be unhappy for all I care, Naruto said in a cold tone. He didn't have the time for an arrogant prick and his trust issues. He was on a mission, and the longer he stayed was the longer he'd run into Orochimaru. How do I know you're telling the truth? Sasuke asked, and Naruto closed his eyes and smiled. Because I got my mother back, Naruto said, and immediately Kushina came from around a corner. She saw Naruto and Sasuke talking and walked over to them. Sochi, are you alright? Kushina asked, and Naruto nodded. Sasuke widened his eyes at the woman. For the longest time, both he and Naruto were orphans. They had no parents, but here was Naruto's mother, and the blonde wasn't a very good liar. So, you're Sasuke. I still remember when I saw how young you looked in Makoto's arms, sleeping soundly, Kushina said, and Naruto snickered while Sasuke slightly blushed in embarrassment. You knew my mother? Sasuke asked her, and Kushina nodded with a gentle smile, even if seeing Sasuke on the wrong side was a bit heartbreaking to the Uzumaki woman, as she wondered what Makoto would think about something like this. Sasuke sighed as he turned to Naruto before looking at the ground. Can you do it? Can you really bring my mother back? Sasuke asked, and Naruto nodded. He could bring back the whole clan if he actually wanted, but he'd figure that he'd get more information on why they were murdered before doing anything else. That's right. Just agree to 3 things, Naruto said, holding up 3 fingers. Sasuke and Kushina stared at the blonde, and Naruto sighed. First, you come back with us and give yourself up willingly, Naruto told him, and Sasuke nodded fast. Naruto now had 2 fingers up. Second, you won't ask me how I plan to do this, Naruto said, as he'd rather not tell anyone of his contract still. Sasuke glared at Naruto, but the blonde didn't falter. The Uchiha relented and nodded fast. Naruto sighed and held up 1 finger. Third, when she's revived, you will not tell anyone that I did it. That is all for my conditions, Naruto said to the Uchiha, and Sasuke raised an eyebrow. Those were weird conditions to accept, but the Uchiha nodded, not seeing that many other options, especially when he was injured. Fine, I'll go back peacefully. I won't ask how you did it, and I won't tell anyone that you did it. I agree to them all, Dobe, Sasuke uttered, and Naruto nodded with a smile on his face. Well, alright then, Team A. You'll get your mother back, Naruto said, and Sasuke did his best to do a small glare at the Uzumaki. But if this is a lie just to get me back in Konoha, then I will destroy you without a second's hesitation, Sasuke said. And Naruto nodded, Fine, Tammy. Shake on it, Naruto asked with his hand out, and the Uchiha gazed at it. He grabbed it and shook it, signing the deal that they made. Kushina smiled before she immediately scowled. And just in time too, Kushina said as she turned around. Sasuke and Naruto looked also to see Orochimaru and Kabuto come in. My, if this isn't a pleasant exchange, I never thought I'd see you again, Kushina-san. How are you alive? Orochimaru asked, and Kushina shrugged her shoulders. Maybe the shinigami had a change of heart. Who knows, Kushina said, and Kabuto walked down the steps. He glanced at Naruto and corrected his glasses. Still chasing Sasuke-san, Naruto? Man, you're hopeless, Kabuto said, and Naruto just stared at him. He rolled his eyes before turning to Sasuke. Well, I must say that given the right incentive that anyone can change their mind. Isn't that right, Teeny? Naruto asked, handing the Uchiha a soldier pill. Sasuke took it and ate the pill, feeling his chakra return to his body. The Uchiha grinned as he went through his hand signs. Katan! Gokakyu no Jutsu! Sasuke yelled, sending the fireball as Kabuto. The medic nin widened his eyes and dodged the shot while Orochimaru seethed at Sasuke's betrayal. Sasuke! What are you doing? Orochimaru yelled, and the Uchiha looked at his former sensei coldly with his Sharingan. I'm leaving you. I was planning on doing it anyway, but this is just a much better reason. I have no need of you anymore, the Uchiha said as Orochimaru growled. You ungrateful brat. I'll kill you, Orochimaru yelled as he took his sword and charged at Sasuke, but Kushina interfered and smiled. Come on, Orochimaru. You know I'm better with the sword than you, Kushina said as she kicked him across the room into the adjacent wall. Kabuto widened his eyes before he turned to Naruto. You really know how to ruin everything, you know that? Kabuto asked, and Naruto shrugged his shoulders. Yeah, I have a habit of doing that. It's it awesome, Databeo? Naruto asked, and Kabuto scowled. His arm glowed a blue chakra as he dashed at the blonde, but one thing he didn't expect was Naruto's speed, and the Uzumaki quickly vanished, making Kabuto widen his eyes as Naruto appeared behind him. You really are slow, or maybe I'm just faster than you now, Naruto said as he grabbed Kabuto. The medic ninja Orochimaru cursed as he tried to break free, but he saw another Naruto who held up a single hand sign. I never get enough of doing this. Kai Naruto yelled, and his clone exploded, sending Kabuto crashing into the wall. Alright, let's go before we... Hey, who are you? Naruto asked, looking at Sai before they heard 3 people coming. Naruto, Kushina, and Sasuke were prepared for more, but they sighed when they saw Kakashi, Sakura, and some Chunin come through the halls. Naruto and others winced when they saw Sakura slam Sai in the face. How many times are you going to betray us? This is so damn stupid, Sakura said as she looked up. Imagine her surprise when she saw Naruto and Kushina along with Sasuke. Suki-kun, you're here. I knew it. Now we can take you home, Sakura said, and the Uchiha rolled his eyes. He turned to see Naruto grinning like mad, but the Uzumaki didn't say anything. Naruto, did you do something? Sakura asked while Kakashi narrowed his eyes. He took out a kunai, but they had bigger problems to worry about. Sorry to interrupt this reunion, but you will all not get out of here, Orochimaru said as he took out his sword, and Kabuto got to his feet. Sasuke smirked, and so did Naruto. The two stood in front of everyone else and did their hand signs. Ready, Tammy? Naruto asked, and Sasuke snorted. They both finished their hand signs in perfect unison, which surprised everyone. Let's do it, Dobe, Sasuke said, as they each did their individual jutsus. Gyuton! Shinkushoha! Naruto yelled, sending the wind discs at Orochimaru and Kabuto, while Sasuke did his. Katan! Rinka no Jutsu! Sasuke yelled, sending the blazing fires to collided with the wind blazing, making them even more intense as Orochimaru and Kabuto dodged them. The blades exploded into the wall, making it crumble to the ground as Naruto and Sasuke smirked. Too easy, they both said as everyone seemed confused, especially Kakashi and Sakura. Why was Sasuke helping them fight Orochimaru? It seemed like a dream that they were watching. However, they turned around to see Kabuto running at them and Naruto chuckled. Ready again, Sasuke? Naruto asked, and the Uchiha simply smirked with a nod. Naruto vanished in a blur of speed behind Kabuto, surprising the medic Nin. He planted a kick to Kabuto's back, sending him into the air. Kabuto winced at the pain before Sasuke jumped into the air behind him. He unsheathed his sword and, using the bottom of it, he slammed Kabuto across the face, sending him back at Naruto. Naruto unsheathed his own sword as he brought it back. Uzu no Fukusu Kote no Sakataka, Whirlpool Revenge. Reversed Imperial Waterfall. Naruto yelled as he unleashed an entire wave of chakra into the air, sending Kabuto with it. Kabuto yelled out from the pressure of the attack until he hit the ground while Naruto sheathed his sword. I think we should go. Who knows how long we have till they come back, Naruto said, and everyone agreed with him. They all quickly ran from the base towards the entrance that Naruto and Kushina came through. Naruto left a clone there just in case of anything, and everyone shot off into the trees, disappearing from view, leaving a seething Orochimaru and injured Kabuto behind. Forest. Nighttime. Everyone sighed as they gathered around a fire. They hadn't been caught by Orochimaru, so they could only assume that he and Kabuto gave up on the chase. So it was a ranked mission for you to go through one of Orochimaru's bases. Why didn't Tsunade-sama tell us about this? Sakura wondered, making Naruto and Kushina shrug their shoulders, but that was hardly everyone's concern as they all were looking at Sasuke, which pegged the Uchiha quite a bit. What? Sasuke asked, and Sakura just smiled as she walked up to him. I'm just glad you're coming home, Sasuke. We've missed you, Sakura said while Naruto rolled his eyes. Missed him? She was the only one who missed him. The only reason Naruto offered to bring Sasuke back at all was just so he could simply keep that promise to Sakura, and that was it. Nothing more, nothing less. Whatever. It's only because of the dobe that I'm going back. Just don't get in my way, Sasuke said, making Sakura slightly frown. Everyone sighed, but sort of expected something like that. So, Kakashi-sensei, what's Sasuke punishment looking like? Naruto asked, and Sakura turned to him as well. All eyes were on the Jonin as Kakashi looked at the fire. He sighed and turned to Sasuke. It depends. Since Sasuke gave himself up, then he'll have a lighter sentence, and if he tells us all about Orochimaru and his works, then it might be reduced again. But not matter how much, he will have to serve some time in prison. I know that much. Kakashi and Sakura slightly laughed in nervousness. But it was the curse mark. It was influencing Sasuke-kun. They can't do that to him, Sakura said, and some people sighed. I'm sure Naruto will say something for Sasuke, Sakura said, turning to Naruto, and the blonde mentally cursed. Damn it! Why does this always come back to me? Sasuke's not a brat. Well, he is, but he can take care of himself. This is a joke, Naruto thought before he sighed. Sakura, you know how Sasuke is. He doesn't want our help, and I'm sure he doesn't need it, Naruto said, and Sasuke nodded. That's right, I don't. I can handle myself just fine. Sakura, Sasuke said to her, and Sakura sighed before sitting down around the fire. Everyone had stayed silent for the time being while Kushina got to her feet. She slowly walked off into the woods, and Naruto decided to follow her. He wondered what was wrong with her and decided to leave. Kushina walked to a small creek that they had passed and took a sip of water. She let the water cleanse her throat and sighed. They had a successful mission, and while she was happy about that, she just couldn't forget about what happened to her last night. She had dreamt of something that made her wonder where her relationship with her son was going. She dreamt of herself and doing things with Naruto. She couldn't sleep at all that night, and that was the first time she had dreamt of her son that way. It was staggering to the Uzumaki woman how she felt for her son. She quickly knew that what was being replaced with motherly feeling were a woman's feelings. The feeling of having a man near her, the feeling of being touched and kissed the way Naruto did. He might not have done it perfectly, but that didn't mean anything to her. Heck, Kushina couldn't lie and say that it didn't feel good, and she wasn't sure what was holding her back, but she could feel it in her heart somewhere. Maybe it was with an incident during her teenager years. Something like that? "Hey, Naruto said, surprising Kushina, and she gulped. The female Uzumaki nearly jumped at her son's voice before turning around to look at him. She saw him leaning on a tree with his arms folded. He looked rather handsome in his attire, even if it was slightly destroyed from his fight with Sasuke. "Hey, Sochi, why aren't you with the others?" Kushina asked, and Naruto grinned. He rubbed the back of his head, but then he got serious, which made Kushina startle. "Ka-chan, we need to talk," Naruto told her, and Kushina nodded. She had a really good idea on what he wanted to talk with her about, and the two walked for a bit. Naruto wondered what number this talk was that they were about to have. It seems that they had been talking a lot with each other, not that they minded it fully. Seeing a secluded spot, Naruto and Kushina sat in the middle of a field where the moon was shining down on them, both giving the other a sort of mystic appearance to the one next to them. Both sighed and stared away from each other for a few minutes. It seemed that two loudest Uzumaki were generally quiet about such things, but then again they had every right to be. "I'll stop Kaya-chan," Naruto told her, making Kushina turn her gaze to him. She raised an eyebrow at what he could mean, and Naruto decided to explain. "I'll stop doing the things you don't like. If you don't want to be with me," and I said, "I won't force you. I just want you to be happy, and if you don't see that with me, then I'll just stop. And I'm sorry for what I did," Naruto told her as he looked at the ground. Kushina widened her eyes before looking down. "It's not your fault, Sochi. It's mine. It's always been my fault. Right from when you first kissed me, I felt something. But I didn't want to want. Yes, I know about all the things clans do, but I also saw the strife, ridicule, and other things that came with it. I didn't want that for you. I care more about you than anyone else I can think of," Kushina said, and Naruto chuckled while he rubbed the back of his head. It felt sort of good to hear that from her. "I care about you too, Ka-chan, but what made you think it was your fault?" "I mean, I'm the one who did it," Naruto claimed, and Kushina sighed. "It's because you seemed so sure of your feelings and I kept telling you that they weren't real. I thought about the fault in those words that I said to you, and I knew it was my fault for the distance I created between you and myself. I just don't want us to end like two other people I knew," Kushina said, and this got Naruto's attention. "Mind telling me?" Naruto asked, and Kushina sighed. She recalled her memories and began. "Their names were Kira Uzumaki and Kota Uzumaki. They were both brother and sisters. Cousins of mine from some part of my family that I remember. They loved each other, a lot more than a brother and sister should. They had kept their relationship hidden, and when I found out, they told me to keep it a secret also. I supported their relationship. I didn't know the reason they kept it hidden, but later on I knew. Their mother was completely against incest. They both shared her, but different fathers, so they were more like half-brother and sister. Anyway, when she found out about it, she had disowned them, claiming that what they did was an immoral injustice to everything. Both Kira and Kota were sad that their mother could say that. I tried to console them as best I could, but they always seemed to fall into some sort of depression. Granted, they always got out of it, but it seemed that they drifted from each other after that. They couldn't stand each other after that. They stopped loving each other, stopped talking, and just wouldn't be seen together anymore. It was also around that time that I realized that Kira was pregnant, but Kota wouldn't take care of it no matter what. I told him that he should, but he rarely did so. Kira did it herself. Their child came out perfect like any other child. Something about the Uzumaki bloodline makes it so that no deformities happen to our children. Kira came to hate Kota, and the two never even saw the other as family anymore. Naruto. I don't want that for you and me. Kushina finished, taking a small breath, and Naruto let it all soak in. He'd never heard of such a story before. It slightly pissed him off, actually. And you think that's what's going to happen to us? You think I'm going to end up hating you and not see you as family anymore? Naruto asked, and Kushina slowly nodded. Naruto then did the unexpected. He laughed. The blonde fell to the ground and held his stomach as he laughed. Kushina watched her son laugh his head off. It slightly irked her for some reason, and before she could shout at her son, Naruto stopped laughing and held his hands up in defense. Sorry, Kage-chan. I didn't mean to laugh. It's not at the story, but rather I'm laughing at the fact that I thought you just didn't like to be around me is all. Naruto said, and Kushina seemed even more confused. Why would I not like being around you, Sochi? I've always loved it, Kushina replied, and Naruto sat back up. Well, we were avoiding each other for those 3 days before the mission, and you moved out of the bedroom, Naruto said while Kushina slowly blushed. Oh, that. Well, that was of Wow, this is embarrassing, Databane. Kushina chuckled while rubbing the back of her head. Naruto grinned also as he got up to his feet. Well, anyway, Kasan. That's not going to happen with me or you, Naruto said to her, and Kushina raised an eyebrow. There went that baseless confidence of his. Not that she wasn't the same at times, but that was beside the point at the moment. Oh, and what makes you so sure? She asked, and Naruto put a finger to his chin. He thought it over for a second and then turned back to his mother. You think I'm using some baseless confidence again, don't you? He asked, and Kushina widened her eyes before moving her eyes around to avoid his making Naruto's guess the right one. All right, Kachan, if I loved you, and you loved me, do you think we would fail like that? Naruto asked her, and Kushina found it troubling to answer that, or rather, she wasn't sure. Well, I'm not sure. Do you think we'd fail? Kushina asked, and Naruto shook his head. He just got his mother interested in the possible aspects of something like this. No, I don't. I can't say why, Kachan. Just know that I'll do anything to make you happy. I mean it. You're the best thing that has ever happened to me, Naruto exclaimed, and Kushina felt her heart skip a beat. Kushina got to her feet along and followed Naruto until the blonde abruptly stopped. What's the matter? Kushina asked, and Naruto shook his head. Nothing wrong, Kachan. It's just that I'm glad you told me that story, Naruto said, and Kushina wondered what he meant by that. Naruto turned around to face his mother and startled her a bit. He quickly lessened the distance between them both, but instead of a kiss like Kushina expected, Naruto hugged her. He gently wrapped his arms around his mother and sighed. Kachan, I can't tell you how it could go. I don't know everything, but I know that I love you. Again, I'd do anything for you. Would you give me a chance? Naruto asked, making Kyuubi grin inside his demon realm mindscape. It's getting good now. Please kiss the damn brat. This on and off thing is so stupid. Go, Kit, Kyuubi said in thought, and Kushina continued to slightly smile. I should stop. I shouldn't do this. He's my son, and I'm his mother. We'll destroy our relationship, Kushina said in thought. But her thoughts didn't register at all as she wrapped her arms around her son. Man, Sochi, you're making this difficult. Here I am trying to repair our mother-son relationship, and you keep trying to tear it down, Databane, Kushina said slightly, laughing, and Naruto smiled. I'll always be your son, Ka-chan. I'd just like to be more than that, Naruto said, and Kushina smiled. She smiled at his words. She smiled at his confidence, and she smiled at his enthusiasm. So you really don't mind being with your mother? Kushina asked as she stopped the hug and looked at the ground. Naruto watched her reaction of nervousness. It made her slightly even more cute than before, which he wondered if it was possible. Naruto smiled as he cupped her cheek and pushed her face to his. If mine did anything, it's that you weren't with me, Naruto said, and Kushina blushed again. She saw Naruto's face reflected off the moon, and his eyes magnified by the moon's appearance. Kushina bit her lip before she gave a heavy sigh. I still think this is wrong, Sochi, and it will take me time to get used to all that's going on, but you've been so sweet to me, and I've got nothing to complain about anymore. Sochi, if you love me then, just like before, kiss me," Kushina said, and Naruto widened his eyes while Kushina closed hers. She smiled and stood on her tiptoes since Naruto was a little taller than her. Naruto gulped as he felt his heart lighten. Kushina smiled as Naruto lowered his head. He was nervous, beyond nervous even. He wasn't sure why, but he didn't care. Naruto cupped his mother's cheeks and gently kissed her, but now it was different. There was no resistance, no hesitation, and no mixed feelings. It was all the same. Kushina kissed Naruto back and they deepened their connection. Naruto wrapped his arms around his mother's waist, and Kushina wrapped her over his neck. Kyubi was doing a jig shouting out nice things, and how he had seen it all now. Kushina shuddered under her son's mouth. She wasn't hesitating to kiss him back anymore. She loved her son, and he loved her. Naruto easily overpowered her lips, and like last time his tongue begged for some acceptance, but this time there was no resistance and no waiting. Kushina quickly opened her mouth, and both embraced each other in a more passionate kiss. Kushina had never felt so hot in her life. She was kissing her son. Her arms were roaming his form and she was enjoying it. Naruto and Kushina stumbled through the fields, and before long the two lost their balance, and Kushina ended up on top of Naruto, with her hair making a tent to hide them from anyone watching. The two chuckled at each other as their faces were flushed from their makeout. Naruto held his hand up and caressed his mother's soft, creamy skin as Kushina placed a hand over his. "I love you, Kaa-chan," Naruto said sheepishly, and Kushina smiled. Naruto felt something wet on his cheeks and noticed Kushina was crying. "What? Why am I crying, Databane?" Kushina wondered before she placed her forehead to her son's. "I love you, Sochi, more than you'll ever know. Now, before we return to our group, kiss me again," she said, and Naruto smiled, but stopped for a second. "Just as soon as you tell me why you were so tired this morning. You seemed so exhausted," Naruto said, and Kushina blushed as she averted her gaze from her son. That was because of a dream I had. Would you like to hear it?" Kushina asked, and Naruto nodded in earnest, so Kushina began. "I was in my room, kissing the man of my dreams. I loved him so much and I couldn't get enough of him. He did things to me that I just couldn't get out of my head, and the reason I couldn't sleep was because it wasn't Minato doing it, Naruto. It was you. You were the one who was in my dreams. I tried to get rid of it, but the more I did, the more I realized it. Naruto-kun, let me tell you something that Mitoba-kan told me," Kushina said, and Naruto nodded. "In our world, in our times, truth are lies, and lies are truth. Nothing is right. In our world, morality doesn't matter, neither does immorality. Everything it permitted," Kushina said, and Naruto thought it over. "Nothing is right, but everything is permitted." "Nice phrase," the blonde said, and Kushina agreed. "I finally understand what she meant. Naruto-kun, let's do what we want, Databane," Kushina said, throwing all of her sanity out of the proverbial window, and kissed Naruto again, shocking the blonde. But he welcomed it. Back with the group. "Man, where are you? They've been gone for over half an hour." "Maybe we should look for them," Sakura said, and everyone was about to agree. But then the immoral mother and son duo came through the trees and smiled. "Sorry about that. I had to tell Kaa-chan a few things," Naruto said while Kakashi gave an eye smile. "Well, at least you're all right. It'd be bad if you two didn't come back. So what got you two in such a happy mood?" Kakashi asked, and Kushina swung her arm around her son's neck while Naruto rubbed the back of his head. "Just mother and son bonding, Databane. Nothing more than that," the Uzumaki woman replied, making everyone raise their eyebrows at them. "Right, well, let's get going. We've rested enough for one day," Kakashi said. But he saw everyone yawn and sighed. "All right, sleep first, then we get going. I'll stand the first watch," Kakashi told them, but Naruto patted his shoulder. "No, Kakashi-sensei. I'll do it," Ka-chan taught me about night surveillance. You get some rest, Naruto said, and Kakashi nodded. He sighed and went to sleep, while Naruto headed up to a tree to stand guard. Right next to him, Kushina appeared, smiling. I thought you'd go to sleep also, Naruto said, but Kushina waved him off. I wouldn't be able to anyway. I'll stay awake with you tonight, Kushina said, and Naruto smiled. They both watched the moon for a bit and just enjoyed the company of each other, since it was nice to feel a certain freedom that the two Uzumaki attained. You think it's wrong? Naruto asked simply, testing something out, and Kushina giggled. A little late for that, isn't it? But yeah, I think it's wrong and I don't care anymore, Datbane. I'll let people say what they want, but I'll never let you be alone again. As my son and my lover, Kushina said to him. And Naruto leaned back into his mother's lap as Kushina stroked his hair. Both Uzumaki were together, and they didn't care who said what anymore. All that mattered was what they thought of themselves and the other. Next morning, Naruto yawned as he opened his eyes. He had been keeping guard all night, but he must have dozed off. He looked up to see it was morning, but another sight surprised him. He saw he was sleeping on his mother's lap, where he had been since last night. Naruto grinned when he remembered last night. It was such an amazing thing to the blonde. That's right, it was amazing, you little motherfucker. Now how long till you get it on? Kyuubi asked while Naruto silently groaned. He rubbed his eyelids while getting used to the sunlight. Not now, Kyuubi. I'd rather come to that bridge when I cross it, Naruto said in thought, and Kyuubi chuckled in his cage. He wasn't going to be bored anytime soon, that was for sure. Hey, I'm more than willing to agree with you. The fact that you even kissed her is enough for now. Oh, she's waking up. See you later, motherfucker, Kyuubi said as that name just stayed around in his head. Naruto rolled his eyes while he saw Kushina open her own. She looked down and smiled as their gazes hit each other. Have a good sleep, Ka-chan, Naruto asked, and Kushina ruffled his hair while leaning down to kiss his forehead. Naruto blushed, but smiled as she leaned up from his head. I slept well, Naruto-kun. It seems we got up before everyone else, so we have a bit of time to ourselves, Kushina said, and Naruto agreed. He leaned up from her lap. Kushina dusted her clothes as she got to her feet. The two had stayed in the tree all night, but neither complained. So are you going to move back with me or still stay in the guest room? Naruto asked, and Kushina looked at him before smiling slightly. What do you think? She asked playfully, and Naruto rubbed the back of his head. Leave it to his mother to mess with his head, which could only irk the blonde even more. I think yes, hopefully, Naruto responded, and Kushina placed a hand over her hip. She easily nodded, and Naruto sighed in relief. He had to remember to thank Hayashi when he had the chance, but that could wait for later as everyone was starting to wake up from their sleeping. The morning was relatively quiet, minus Naruto and Kushina's conversation. The two were talking more with each other than anyone else, but no one seemed to mind. Sakura seemed off in her own Sasuke so cool world. It was amazing that 2 years of seriousness had been somewhat repressed in one Nai by one Uchiha. But that wasn't Naruto's problem. He'd rather not worry about Sakura and her tendencies anymore. He wondered if he got some of that seriousness from the Shinigami. Alright everyone, now that we're done we will be heading for Konoha. Sasuke, I want you to be prepared for what you're going to face, Kakashi said, making sure that Sasuke prepared for whatever happened, which made the Uchiha close his eyes. I know that already, Kakashi. You don't need to keep telling me. I'll own up to my actions, Sasuke said, taking a glance at Naruto, making the blonde nod. The Uchiha sighed, and immediately everyone ran off towards Konoha, so that their mission could be considered a success. Orochimaru's base. Orochimaru sat in his chair, pissed off like there was no end. He was taking Sasuke's betrayal hard as Kabuto saw his master seethe like mad. Kabuto, make plans right now. I will never allow Sasuke get away from me. That ungrateful bastard. Orochimaru said, and Kabuto bowed to his master. At once, Orochimaru-sama, who would you suggest that I send to go and retrieve Sasuke-san? Kabuto asked, and Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. He thought it over for a few minutes before chuckling. I have a better idea. Kabuto, how's that experiment coming? Orochimaru asked, and the medic stood to his feet and adjusted his glasses before giving a small smirk of his own. It's going well, Orochimaru-sama. I'll head to the Land of Iron immediately, Kabuto said, and Orochimaru nodded. The snake Sannin quickly got to his feet and handed Kabuto his sword. Kusanagi! Kabuto took the sword into his hands and smiled as he walked off, leaving Orochimaru in his room, grinning like mad. When this goes well, I'll have the power to do anything. Kukuku Sasuke, you just made a big mistake, Orochimaru said as his laughter echoed throughout the room. Somewhere in the middle of nowhere, 9 figures came together in their astral forms as they stood on the fingertips of a giant statue-like structure. They all came together and began to talk with Deidara glaring hard at Itachi. Itachi, you bastard, do I look like an idiot to you, Deidara asked while Kisame chuckled in response to that question of the blonde ex-Iwa ninja. Is that a trick question? Kisame asked while Deidara glared at the fishman, but didn't respond as he kept his gaze on the Uchiha, which made Itachi raise an eyebrow. What are you talking about, Deidara? Itachi asked, and the blonde narrowed his eyes. You said the Kyuubi Jinchuriki would be easy to spot. Well, he wasn't. I almost got killed. Now enough of your damn riddles and tell me who he is. Deidara told him, and Itachi narrowed his eyes. Had Naruto changed over the years so much to the point that they couldn't pick up on the hints that he gave them? It seems that Naruto's changed. I'll have to watch him closely now, Itachi thought to himself while he closed his eyes. He rubbed side before opening his eyes again. Well, since you don't know, then he is Naruto Uzumaki. He, the blonde you met, Itachi said, and Deidara nodded. He knew he was right. How in the hell could he be wrong? He had it right the first time he saw the blonde. I knew I was right. Deidara said while Toby next to him chuckled at his misfortune before adding fuel to the already burning fire. That still didn't stop you from getting your butt kicked, senpai, Toby said, making Haiden and Kisame laugh at him, while Deidara growled at his partner. He turned to the leader who was watching them all interact and sighed. Leader-sama, why do I have to be paired up with this guy? He's a freaking idiot, Deidara said, and Pain looked down at him with his menacing glare. You will have to get used to him, Deidara. Now stop your whining. We now have the Ichibai in our possession. We'll begin the extraction of the other tailed beasts. Itachi, Kisame, you are to go after the Kyuubi one more time. Should you fail, then the consequences will be most severe, Pain said, making Itachi and Kisame nod. Leader-sama, we still haven't located the Sambi. Where do you suggest we look? Kakuzu asked, and the man with his purple ring-shaped eyes turned his head to meet Kakuzu's gaze. For right now, ignore it. The Sanbei Jinchuriki is dead right now, and that's all that matters. Focus on the others for the moment. You're all dismissed, Pain said, and everyone faded out, leaving only him, his partner, Konan, and Toby. Nagato, you're underestimating the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. It'll backfire if you're not careful, Toby said in a new tone of voice while Pain closed his eyes. It doesn't concern you, Madara. We'll get it done just like always, Pain said while Konan sighed. He has a point, Nagato. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki must really have changed, or he wouldn't have given Deidara such a hard time like he said, Konan told him, and Nagato sighed. I suppose, but he will never be able to defeat a god. Let's go, Konan, Pain said, and the two faded out while Toby left also. Back in Konoha, Tsunade stared wide-eyed at who was in front of her. She seemed to stay silent for a few minutes while Sasuke sighed. He rolled his eyes while Tsunade stood to her feet. Is this supposed to be a joke? She asked while Naruto shook his head. No. He asked, unsure if he was supposed to answer that or not, while Tsunade glared at the Uchiha. Sakura and Kakashi gulped while Kushina watched the interaction taking place. You expect me to believe that he just gave up willingly? What game are you playing, brat? Tsunade asked, and Naruto waved his hands up in defense. No game, Tsunade-bakan. I did fight with Sasuke for a bit, but I managed to convince him and he came back, Naruto said while Sasuke glared at Naruto. It seemed that the whole ordeal of him somehow bringing back his mother was a secret from even the Hokage. It really made Sasuke wonder what was going on that he didn't know about the blonde, but Sasuke decided to keep his mouth shut. Brat, in all my years as a shinobi, I know something like that doesn't happen often. Now what aren't you telling me? Tsunade asked, and Naruto gulped. He saw Tsunade being completely irate. It wouldn't do him any good to tell her what really happened. Look, Baya-chan. It happened, so deal with it. What's up with all the non-trust with you? Naruto asked, making Sakura and Kakashi widen their eyes. Tsunade paused and stopped her accusation. She sighed and leaned back into her hair. She massaged her temples and looked at Sasuke. The Uchiha stepped forward and came to Naruto's not-needed aid. He's right. I just came back from something he told me. He said there might be something for me here, so I came back to find it. That's all, Sasuke said, sort of irritated in the way this talk was going. Tsunade sighed as she looked from Sasuke to Naruto. She saw that they were both drop-dead serious and snapped her fingers. Immediately, 2 Anbu appeared in the room. Very well, I believe you too. Since you gave up willingly, you'll be treated accordingly. Now if you hand over any information on Orochimaru, then you'll be even better. I'll have to discuss some things with the council and your punishment might be reduced, but for now you'll be held in our prison. Understood? Tsunade asked, and Sasuke nodded. He began to walk away, but Sakura walked up to Tsunade. Naruto, Kakashi, Kushina, and even Sasuke hoped that she would shut her mouth and not make this worse. Tsunade-sama, Sasuke-kun was under the influence of the curse mark. We can't hold that against him, Sakura said while Tsunade sighed. She rested her elbows on the table and her head in her hands. That will be taken into consideration, Sakura, but regardless of what happened, must still receive punishment. It's the way things go, Tsunade said, and Sakura was about to retort before Sasuke sighed as he walked out the door with the Anbu as he left them all a small note. It seems that Naruto's the only one who has grown up, I guess, Sasuke said, making Sakura flinch as the Uchiha walked out the door. Kakashi and Naruto sighed while Kushina wondered what happened to Sasuke and make him like that. Well, anyway, this mission is a success for Kakashi, Sakura, and Sai. Naruto, Kushina, what have you brought? Tsunade asked, and Kushina didn't have anything to give, but apparently Naruto did as he knelt down. He opened the secret compartment in his shoes and pulled out a small vial. I got this while looking inside his lab. It's filled with some green stuff, but I don't know what, Naruto said, handing the vial to Tsunade. The slug princess took the vial into her hands and looked it over with a critical eye before Naruto also took out a scroll. He unsealed the stuff inside and a pile of papers flew out. I also grabbed these from the same place. I hope this helps, Naruto said, and Tsunade looked at the stack of papers. She summoned Shizune, who grabbed the papers and quickly left with a hello to Naruto and the others. Nice work, Naruto, Kushina. You've completed the mission successfully. You may have the rest of the day off. Now get going. I have other things to do, Tsunade said, making Naruto and Kushina bow as they left the room. Sakura and Kakashi left also, and before long, they caught up to the mother-son duo. Hey Naruto, what to do, anything? Sakura asked, but Naruto shook his head at her. Sorry, Sakura. I've got things to do also. I'll see you later, Naruto told her, and he and Kushina walked off. Sakura sighed and turned around to see that Kakashi had left also, with her standing in the middle of the street. Guess I'll go see how Ino's doing then, Sakura said, walking off. Meanwhile, Naruto and Kushina were walking back to their house with the Uzumaki woman turning to her son. "You could have gone with her," Kushina said, before Naruto stood behind her and placed his hands on her shoulder. "Yeah? I could have, but I'd rather spend the day with my woman who's more beautiful than anyone I know," Naruto said while Kushina blushed. She rubbed the back of her head and chuckled. "Flatterer," she said as they arrived to their house. Kushina opened the door and quickly walked into the kitchen. "Is there anything you'd like to eat?" she asked, and Naruto was about to say something before Kushina glared at him playfully. "Besides ramen," she said, and Naruto pouted. His mother was always like that, but the blonde found that exciting about her. In every aspect of the word. He sighed as he rubbed the back of his head. Well, you pick. I've got nothing specific," Naruto told her as he walked outside, but not before seeing her wrap an apron around her body, making him gulp as he disappeared into the fields. Naruto walked out a little further into the woods and looked around before he unfurled his wrist guards, exposing his seal. Naruto bit his thumb and traced it over his seal. "You know, QB. I still don't like lying to everyone," Naruto said, and QB sighed at his container. "Of course you don't, brat. Lying could get you killed." "Wait, that's right, you can't die, can you?" QB asked, and Naruto nodded. He quickly slammed his seal and watched it glow. "You think I should tell someone?" Naruto asked, and QB shrugged his big, furry shoulders. "Do what you want, Kit. At this point, it might not matter, but maybe you should tell someone or else you'll go insane from the silence," QB suggested, and Naruto agreed. "Maybe you're right. Kuchio's no jutsu," Naruto yelled. His seal soon faded out, and Naruto quickly turned around. He saw Shin holding a small soul before he devoured it. Naruto raised an eyebrow before the shinigami noticed his presence. "You have the habit of summoning me at the strangest of times, but I suppose I knew that when I allowed a contract with you. So what do you want?" the shinigami asked in his emotionless tone as he always had. Naruto folded his arms and closed his eyes. "You'd think we'd have a better relationship since I've had you for the past few years," Naruto said, while the shinigami closed his eyes. "You know how busy I am. I don't have time for idle chatter. So are you going to tell me what you want? 'Cause if it's not training or reviving anyone, then I'm going to go," Shin said, and Naruto sighed. But there was nothing he could do about it, so he simply decided to agree with Shin and get right to it. "Alright, sorry. I know you're busy. I'd like to revive someone. Her name is Hinako Hyuga. She's from the Hyuga clan, Hinata's mother, and Hayashi-san's lover," Naruto said, and the shinigami nodded. He quickly took his beads and made them glow for a bit. Naruto covered his eyes for a little while as the light enveloped the area. Soon the light faded while Hinako appeared, but she didn't move, which made Naruto raise an eyebrow. "Why isn't she moving?" Naruto asked, and the shinigami pointed to his sword. "Stab her through the chest with your sword. It won't hurt her. Rather, her essence will return to her body. Since I channeled my spiritual energy into your sword, it now has that capability. Keep that in mind," Shin said, and Naruto nodded. He took out his sword and watched a small, pure spiritual fire engulf it. He managed to thrust the sword through Hanako's chest, and immediately the fire channeled from his sword to her body. Naruto watched the fire flare for a bit before settling down. Hinako opened her eyes while Naruto turned to the shinigami. "Thank you. Is it the same two people for one person deal?" Naruto asked, and the shinigami narrowed his steely gaze at the blonde. The QB Jinchuriki gulped as he wondered if he said something wrong. "Well, you've shown yourself efficient in keeping your interest parts. Fine, I'll test you. From now on, it will be one person per revival. If you mess up, then it's back to being interest as usual. Understood?" the shinigami asked, and Naruto nodded. He breathed a sigh of relief as he watched his summon disappear. Excuse me, but who are you?" Hinako asked, and Naruto turned around. He got a better look at the woman and carefully looked her over. Hinako had a very light skin, just like Hinata's. Her hair seemed to be a dark eggplant color. Slightly dark purple, if he had to give it a color. She seemed to be wearing a moderately purple outside robe with a black sash wrapped around it. But that was enough observation. "Oh, sorry. I'm Naruto Uzumaki," the blonde said, and Hinako widened her eyes. She remembered the blonde as she saw him when he was younger, much younger. "Wow, I remember you, but how did you grow up so fast?" she asked, and Naruto rubbed the back of his head. "Well, you see," Naruto told Hinako everything that was going on as the two sat in the forest. Hinako widened her eyes at all the new information. She was surprised that Naruto had revived her, or the fact that Hinata was a lot older. When all was said and done, Hinako was smiling. "Thank you, Naruto-san. I can tell you how happy I am for this. If there is anything I can do, just let me know." "I'm very grateful," Hinako said, and Naruto smiled. "Well, I've got 2 things that I would like you to do," Naruto said, holding out a piece of paper. Hinako watched as Naruto wrote on the paper for a few minutes. He smiled and handed the paper to Hinako. The Hyuga woman raised an eyebrow while she looked at Naruto for an explanation. "1. Can you pass that to Hayashi-san for me?" Naruto asked, and Hinako nodded. She quickly took the paper as Naruto got to his feet. He helped Hinako up also and patted her on the shoulder. "Now, as for the second thing, please don't tell anyone that I'm the one who revived you. It'll make things go smoother for you and me," Naruto said as he rubbed the back of his head. Hinako nodded as Naruto told her she could go. Hinako walked away with a small smile on her face as Naruto chuckled. "Eat your heart out, Hayashi-san," Naruto thought before he saw Kushina come out to the field. "Dinner's ready. Naruto-kun, come on in. After that we'll train with some sparring, all right?" she asked, and Naruto nodded. They quickly walked inside as Naruto saw Hinako head into the village. He knew that the Hyuga compound would be having some fun tonight with Hinako. Hinako walked through the village and back to the Hyuga compound. She reminisced throughout the entire place as she saw new shops and places. She could only be happy that she didn't get lost on her way back to the Hyuga compound. She wondered how tall Hinata and Hanabi had gotten. It would be great to see them. From what Naruto had told her, Hinata must really have grown. "I can't wait to see all of you," Hinako said as she came up to the Hyuga compound. She felt a small air of familiarity and knocked on the door. A Hyuga came to the door and quickly opened. "Hello, can I help you? Hinako-sama," the guard said, and Hinako smiled with a pure smile as the guard quickly let her inside. He looked her over from head to toe and even used his Baikugan to make sure this wasn't some imposter or a genjutsu. He widened his eyes when he saw she was real. Her chakra, her features, nothing was out of place. It was really Hinako. "Hello, is Hayashi-kun here?" Hinako asked, and the guard quickly nodded as he escorted Hinako through the familiar compound towards Hayashi. Speaking of Hayashi, the Hyuga was having a small gathering with Hinata, Hanabi, and Neji. The 4 Hyuga were sitting on their mats while Hayashi spoke. "And with that being said, I think it's time that you all started to move towards the next step in your training. Neji, you are by far the most talented Hyuga that I've ever known, and so you will lead the 2 in their training. Is that all right?" Hayashi asked, and Neji nodded. He bowed to the head Hyuga before getting up. "I also heard that Naruto here a few days ago. Is that right, Hayashi-sama?" Neji asked, and Hayashi nodded. Hinata blushed while Hanabi raised an eyebrow. "That's right. He was here. Why do you want to know?" Hayashi asked, but Neji shook his head, not wanting to push the conversation anymore. Soon there was a knock at the door, making everyone turn to it. "Come in," Hayashi said, and the door opened only slightly. The compound guard showed his head and gulped, which made Hayashi, Neji, Hinata, and Hanabi looked at him strangely. Hayashi-sama, there is someone to see you," the guard said, and Hayashi raised an eyebrow. He wasn't expecting anyone, but nodded. "Show them in," Hayashi said, and the guard gulped again. It wasn't like a Hyuga to get nervous. Well, except for Hinata. But anyway, the guard opened the door and allowed Hanako to walk inside. "Hello, Hayashi-kun," Hinako said, making Hayashi widen his eyes. He slightly trembled at the voice while Neji and Hinata looked at the woman in complete shock. The only one confused was probably Hanabi of all them. "Hinako?" Hayashi asked as he stood to his feet. Hinako smiled as she stood in front of the head. "Hyuga." She smiled as she quickly grabbed him into a hug. "How long is it going to take you to hug me?" she asked, and Hayashi quickly wrapped his arms around his wife. "Ka-san," Hinata said, and Hinako turned around. She looked at Hinata's older form and smiled as a tear ran down her cheek. "Hinata, you've grown so much," Hinako said as Hinata felt some tears go down her cheek. She stood to her feet and hugged her mother also. Hanabi heard Hinata call her mother and quickly jumped to her feet. She gasped at the woman while Hanako turned to her second daughter. "Hanabi, you've grown also into a pretty young woman," Hinako said, and Hanabi walked up to her, and her body slowly trembled. "Keika-san?" Hanabi asked, and Hinako quickly nodded with her gentle smile. Everyone wrapped their arms around Hinako while Neji smiled. He chuckled, but seemed so confused about it. Hinako was standing right in front of him like it was nothing. It had to be some sort of miracle. "How is that even possible?" Neji asked in thought while Hanako turned to him also. She smiled before she walked up to him. "Hey Neji, I can see that you've grown also. How have you been?" Hanako asked and Neji bowed. "Hanako-sama, it's nice to see you again. How are you back?" Neji asked and Hanako smiled with a small shrug of her shoulders. "Ka-san, this is amazing. You're really back." "I've missed you," Hinata said while Hanako patted her head. She blushed, but Hanako simply continued it. "I've missed you too, Hinata-chan. I can't wait to hear what's happened with all of you," Hanako said while Hayashi released his hug from his wife and half-sister. "You have to tell us how you're back, though, Hanako." "It's such a surprise," Hayashi said while Hanako reached into her robe. She quickly pulled out a note and handed it to Hayashi while she took Hinata, Neji, and Hanabi towards a different room to talk, but not before winking at Hayashi as she left. Hayashi raised an eyebrow at the letter before sitting down as he opened it. He quickly scanned all of its contents before widening his eyes as he read down the letter. To Hyuga Clan Head, Hayashi Hyuga. Hey Hayashi-san, were you surprised? This is my thank you for the talk and advice you gave me. Treasure her as you've deserved it. I hope your clan livens up a little more because of this. I'd appreciate it with all of my heart if you didn't tell anyone I did this. I have my reasons for not telling anyone also. It's probably for the benefit of the village if no one knows I did it. Try to make some excuse. That's all I ask of you. Again, thanks for the advice, and I hope you enjoyed your gift. If you ask me directly, then I'll tell you, but not many people know about this. You're one of the few people I think I could trust. Well, that's all. Naruto Uzumaki. Hayashi finished reading the note and sat in on the table. What secret could Naruto have that was so important that he wanted no one to know about it? Hayashi knew about QB, but the way Naruto talked about it, it was like it was something even bigger than having QB. It really irked the Hyuga, but he sure was happy. He had Hinako back and Naruto was to thank for it. All this time he had been wrong in his assumptions about Naruto. He wasn't anything like he had some people say about him, and if Naruto trusted him enough with his secret, then he would keep it. Granted, he wanted to know for sure. I think I'll go see Naruto-san about this, but for now I think I'll inform the clan of Hinako. We should have a celebration about it, Hayashi said to himself before a rare smile graced his face. Hinako showed her face around the door and smiled. Are you all right, Hayashi-kun? Hanako asked, and Hayashi slowly raised his hand. He grazed Hanako's cheek while she placed her hand over his. I really missed you, Hanako, Hayashi said, and Hanako gave a gentle smile while she kissed his cheek. I missed you too, Hayashi-kun. Now come on and let's see everyone else. You can show me around the compound, Hanako suggested, and Hayashi nodded as they walked out. Hokage Mansion. Tsunade sighed as she looked at her village. Her mind kept replaying that talk she had with Naruto. It seemed so weird, all the things that were going down. So many things that she couldn't explain. Kushina's appearance, Naruto maturity, his hazy explanations with most of his dealings. They all made Tsunade anxious. Naruto was by no means a traitor. That blonde didn't have a bad bone throughout his entire body. She knew that for a fact, and maybe she was being just too protective. She hadn't been around a lot in his life, and she knew that was her fault, so she couldn't really blame Naruto if he didn't want to tell her something. Everyone was entitled to their own secrets, she figured, even her. Great, now I can't get any work done because I'm racked with stupid guilt, Tsunade said with a sigh before she looked down. She had a small paper in front of her. It was for Sasuke's punishment. She and the council had been going for longest time on his punishment. They took into account all the information he presented to them. His giving himself up willingly, and Sakura's rather desperate point of view about Orochimaru, controlling Sasuke with the curse mark. Needless to say, Sasuke got away below the usual. Only a month in prison with the Sharingan deactivated in that time. Damn it, if Tsunade weren't tired from hearing those power-hungry civilians talk to her about Sasuke and his clan, then it would have been probably 5 to 6 months. Hell, maybe even a year, but what's done was done. Besides, she had a good way of knowing how Sasuke could contribute to Konoha. Oh yeah, that'll work out very well. Sakura, thank you for your idea, Tsunade said to herself as she chuckled evilly. Shizune happened to be near her, and gulped as she saw her snickering Hokage and master. This can't be good. She hasn't snickered like that since the time that someone told her to stop drinking. Say? Even I didn't say that much. I say don't drink all the time, but what she did to that person was... Gulp. Shizune quickly left the room, leaving Tsunade to her chuckling mess in her office. Namake's compound. Naruto and Kushina huffed as the Y rested on the porch of their house. They were both a sweating mess from their training. They had quickly started training after their dinner, and needless to say, Naruto still needed training as Kushina made him a quick mess. Not to say he didn't get her either, but they were quick a few. He was fast enough for that. Nice work, Sochi. Just keep practicing, and you'll be a great Kenjutsu user in no time, Kushina said, and Naruto turned to her. That's your level. So how am I as compared to others? Naruto asked, and Kushina wiped a bead of sweat from her brow. You're a lot better than them. As I told Tsunade, because of my training, you are a Kenjutsu master. Just not better than me at it, she said, and Naruto narrowed his eyes at his mother. He saw her playfully chuckle while he turned back to look at the sky. Keep that up, Kei-chan, and I'll pass you up one day, Naruto said while the two Uzumaki sat up. I'm sure you will, but now I'm going to go wash up and change these clothes as you slashed at some unexpected areas, Kushina said, and Naruto looked her over. He slightly blushed when he saw the provocative attire of his mother. He gulped when he saw her dress torn across the chest, legs, and thighs. Kushina noticed his stares while looking at the marks on his body. She noticed his chiseled chest and his muscles from the years of training he went through. Both caught themselves oogling the other before they tore their eyes from each other, and quickly stood to their feet. Well, I'm gonna go wash up now, Kushina said, walking away, and Naruto nodded. He watched her leave and he plopped himself up on the couch. He rubbed his head free of the sweat that constantly fell from his face. Man, Kaya-chan's rough, but that what I like about her, Naruto said to himself before he heard a knock on the door. The blonde cursed before he got to his feet. He quickly opened in only to see Hayashi behind it. Hayashi-san, how are you? Naruto asked, and the Hyuga head held up the blonde's note. Naruto chuckled with a nod. I've been good, Naruto-san. I dare say that I felt much better than I have in a long time, Hayashi responded, and the blonde smiled as he let the Hyuga inside. Hayashi looked around the room for a bit before sitting on the couch. Naruto sat across from him and Hayashi gave him the note. Not that I'm not happy or overjoyed, Naruto-san, but why? Or rather, how did you do this? Hayashi asked, and Naruto nodded. He sighed and rubbed his blonde hair. I know you want to know, but trust me when I say this. If I tell you then, I need your word that you won't tell anyone about this. Right now, the only one who knows about this is myself, my mother, Kyuubi, and possibly Gaara. Naruto told him, keeping the Kyuubi part to himself in his thoughts. Hayashi nodded as he listened to Naruto's word. Hayashi stood to his feet and bowed. He knew what he was risking, but for what Naruto did for him, this was nothing. You have my word of silence. Naruto-san, Hayashi said, and Naruto nodded. He sighed again, and quickly pointed to his hand. Hayashi gazed at it, and Naruto unfurled the cloth around it, and allowed it to drop to the floor. The Hyuga head looked at it and sealed an intricate seal on it. Naruto-san, what that seal? Hayashi asked, and Naruto sighed. This is a summoning contract of me and the shinigami, Naruto said, and Hayashi narrowed his eyes. Please explain. I don't understand, Hayashi said, and Naruto nodded that it was understandable. He started at the beginning of the entire thing and told Hayashi everything. Him almost dying in Final Valley, his meeting the shinigami and all the things that went with it. Needless to say, Hayashi was so surprised at the information. The only way he could tell that this wasn't a joke was because of the serious look in Naruto's eyes. I can see why you'd want to keep this a secret, Naruto-san, but can you handle this? Hayashi asked, and Naruto sighed as he placed his hand on the table. He stared at the seal for a while before nodding, even if it was hesitant. I believe so. That's how you go your wife back. I can make it that way, Naruto answered, and the Hyuga head stood to his feet. I see that you were smart about this. If you told everyone about this, it could benefit as well as hurt Konoha. I definitely understand where you're coming from. You would be treated so differently. I'd imagine that you might even be something of a treasure. The nations would fight over who actually got you, Hayashi said with a gleam in his eyes, while Naruto shuddered. He didn't think that far into the future, but then he saw the small smile on Hayashi's face. Was that a joke? Naruto asked, and Hayashi nodded. He wasn't one for jokes, but that was too good to pass up. Sorry, Naruto-san, but I do understand, and you have my silence. I can understand where this is a problem. It's nice that you can trust me, but what are you going to do? Hayashi asked, and Naruto sighed. I don't know. I think this can lead to peace that Ero-sennin told me about, but I don't know how. Right now, I only have my most absolute rule. The people I kill are those who are on missions, or the people who cross the line with something. A shinobi, I think it's like that. I don't know, Naruto said to Hayashi, and the Hyuga nodded. He quickly got up and walked for a window. I think you're right in your assumptions. Just make sure that you don't cross the line. Naruto-san, Hayashi said, and the blonde narrowed his eyes. He'd never had such a serious conversation before, but the blonde nodded and thanked the Hyuga. Hayashi headed for the door, while Naruto opened it. Regardless, I'll keep this conversation to ourselves. You have the Hyuga clan supporting you, Naruto-san, and thank you for what you've done for me, Hayashi said as he walked out the door. Naruto smiled as he sat back down on the couch. It was then that he saw Kushina coming down the stairs in a bathrobe, while she wiped her hair. Who were you talking to, Sochi? Kushina asked, and Naruto got to his feet. It was Hayashi Hyuga. He stopped by for a bit. So did you enjoy your shower? Naruto asked, and Kushina nodded. That's right, but I really want to take you somewhere tomorrow. It'll require more than a week, but I need to show it to you, Kushina told him, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Oh, and where is that? Naruto asked with his curiosity rising. Kushina smiled as she rested on the couch with him. I'm taking you to your heritage, to the ruin of Uzugakura Naruto-kun. I want you to know of our history. Plus there is something there that I want you to have. Call it your birthright, Kushina said with a smile, and Naruto nodded, feeling even more excited than before. Really, Kachan? That'll be nice to see, Naruto told her, and Kushina nodded. She easily leaned in and kissed Naruto on the lips, surprising the blonde. Kushina deepened the kiss for a bit before separating. Good night, Sochi, Kushina said, and Naruto watched her head back up the stairs. The blonde slumped in the couch and gulped. Lucky brat, getting all the action, Kyuubi said to himself as Naruto got to his feet. He quickly walked off towards his room and saw Kushina combing her hair. She smiled at her son and watched him get in the bed also. So when are we going? Naruto asked, and Kushina smiled. Well, with our speed we can get there in about a day, maybe a day and a half at best. We'll discuss it with Tsunade tomorrow, Kushina told him, and Naruto was eager to see the place. Alright, Kachan, good night, Naruto said as he slipped in his night clothes as he and Kushina got in the bed. Good night, Sochi, Kushina said as the two Uzumaki dozed off, ready to escape the rest of the day. Next morning. So you want me to give you and Naruto 5 days off so you can go back to the ruins of Uzugakure? Tsunade asked, and Kushina easily nodded. Naruto smiled also while Tsunade sighed. Why are you going back there? Kushina, even you know what happened there, Tsunade warned. But Kushina waved it off. Yes, I do know, but there is something there. Something for Naruto. It's rightfully his, I know that much. Tsunade, you have to let me take him, Databane, Kushina said, raising her voice to a new level before Naruto calmed her down. Tsunade sighed again as she looked out the window. What do you think could be there? For the past 200 years there's been nothing. So why would that change now? Tsunade asked while Kushina smirked as she held up a finger in a matter-of-fact way. Because I know something that Mitobakan left for Naruto. Well, not for Naruto specifically. But he's the one who can have it. You have to let me take him there, Kushina told her, and Tsunade sighed. She rubbed the back of her head. Alright, fine, Kushina. You can take him there. While I doubt you'll find anything there, I won't prevent you from going. Just take care of yourself, Tsunade said, and Kushina nodded. She smiled as she left the room while Naruto sighed as he walked up to Tsunade. Ba-chan. Why are you letting me go? Naruto asked, and Tsunade smiled. She stood to her feet and patted Naruto on the shoulder. Because I trust you, brat. I want you to know that right now. It's just that in this world, making assumptions keeps you alive. It's a sad truth. Tsunade, and Naruto looked at the ground. He looked at his left hand and nodded. I understand. Thank you, Baya-chan, Naruto told her, and he quickly ran out the door while Tsunade stayed behind the desk. Her smile quickly faded into a small frown while she looked at some papers. Be careful, Naruto, Tsunade said in thought, as she wondered what was going to happen when Naruto and Kushina returned. With Sasuke. The Uchiha sighed as he stayed in a prison cell. He looked at the wall near his bed and closed his eyes. He was thinking about so many things. He wasn't sure if this was the best decision, not to mention he couldn't be sure that Naruto would bring his mother back. It's not like she was some lost woman out in the world. She was murdered, slaughtered by his brother. Sasuke seethed at the thought of Itachi, but also realized a lot. Sigh. Guess there's no helping this now. If that dope did trick me, then I'll kill him, that all. Still, where did he learn to use his sword? He uses it almost as good as I do. Yankee. Well, whatever. At least I don't have to hear Sakura's mouth for a while, Sasuke said as he thought more about his brother. He was brought back to that fateful night. It was weird because as he saw Itachi leaving one last time, he saw tears on his face. Why was he crying that night? Was he regretting it? No way, I hate him. I hate Itachi. I will kill him, Sasuke said, thinking aloud. But then he heard a replay. So the Uchiha brat thinks that his brother killed the clan for no reason, huh? A prisoner asked, and Sasuke narrowed his eyes. He'd rather not respond, so the man talked anyway. What if it wasn't his choice, huh? Brat. You still know nothing. Such a weird brat, the man said, and the Uchiha growled. What the hell do you know? Sasuke asked, getting more irritated after a while. Aha. I know a lot more than you ever could, brat, the man said, and Sasuke walked to the bars. He looked to see who was taking, but from the angle of his prison cell there wasn't much he could see, so that was sort of a problem. What are you saying? You know something, don't you? Sasuke asked, and he immediately heard a laugh from someone. He growled before the person came into view. He wasn't a prisoner, rather he was a guard. Must have been one very bored guard to be talking to a prisoner. Sasuke was at least allowed books to read so long as none of them were chakra, jutsu, or ninja art based. Well, let's just say I know what really happened. I know a lot more than you can even speculate, the man told him, and Sasuke narrowed his eyes at him. He was obviously an Anbu from his mask, but it still irked the Uchiha that an Anbu would be interested in him. Who are you? The Uchiha asked, and the man smirked. You can call me Bor. Tsunade-sama put me in charge of you. Simple insurance, I guess. Sheesh, why an Anbu captain needs to watch an Uchiha like you makes me wonder, Bor said while Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Never mind that. Tell me what you meant before. What is it that I don't know about my family? Sasuke asked, and Bor smiled behind his mask. This was too easy. Give me a good reason as to why I should tell a spoiled brat like you. You might write me off when you hear it, Bor told him. And Sasuke gritted his teeth. He balled his fists, and if his Sharingan could be active, then it would be flaring like mad. I need to know. My whole life has been a lie. I wanted nothing but power. I wanted to kill Itachi. It was my revenge for what he did to my clan. I spent every waking day and night dreaming of the day that I would kill him. But things are stopping me from doing that. If there is something that I don't know that involves my clan, then I need to know, Sasuke said, looking at the ground. Bor narrowed his eyes behind his mask, so Sasuke wasn't sure what he was thinking. You really are a damn brat, you know that, Bor told him, and Sasuke narrowed his eyes. He sighed as he leaned on the wall while Bor rolled his eyes. I wasn't the Anbu captain when it happened. I was under Itachi's platoon. I'd say that you share in a majority of your clan's arrogance, Bor told him, and Sasuke narrowed his eyes. He looked at the ground before responding. Are you gonna tell me or just insult me cause I don't have time for this? Sasuke said impatiently. And Bor nodded. All right then, I won't tell you, Bor said, walking off, and Sasuke widened his eyes. He quickly cursed and got to his feet. Hey, stop! I need to know! Tell me, Sasuke demanded, and the Anbu turned around. What's the magic word? He asked, and Sasuke gritted his teeth. It was only his second day, yet he felt like he wanted to fucking die. Please, Sasuke said, struggling not to explode from the word he was using. Hearing the Uchiha being polite, Bor turned around and continued. Since you said please, I'll continue. I'll put it like this, fast and simple. The Uchiha were planning to take over Konoha. Bor said quick and to the point. Sasuke widened his eyes before he grabbed the bars of his jail. Impossible, my father told me about loyalty to my village. He's the reason that I was even a Konoha shinobi. Why would he? You were too young to understand what he meant. He did teach you about loyalty. I'm sure, but it wasn't meant to be to your village. It was to be to your clan. Fortunately for us, Konoha learned about your plot from Itachi. At the time, the Sandaime was our Hokage. He didn't want to, but he knew to keep the village safe he would have to destroy the Uchiha clan. But do you know who told him they would do it? Bor asked, and the pieces we coming together for Sasuke. Itachi, Sasuke said, and Bor nodded. That's right. He put his loyalty to the village before his entire clan, all except you. You were the one person he couldn't kill. He loved you more than the village itself, Bor said while Sasuke's eyes glared hard. That's a lie. He's told me to kill him, to hate him, despise him. I can't just suddenly believe that Adachi would act on the best interests of the village, Sasuke said as confusion. Anger and guilt were coming to him. Bor noticed all the signs and sighed. Look, I was in Itachi's platoon, like I said. We all tried to persuade him not to go through with it. He was the only Uchiha who didn't flaunt his power along with your mother. If I know Itachi like I think I know him, then he lives with that regret every day of his life, until you come along and kill him to end his suffering. You'd be seen as the hero of Konoha who avenged the Uchiha clan. How could you break his wishes like that? Bor asked, and tears ran down Sasuke's face. Had he been wrong the whole time? What was he supposed to do? This was all new information to him as a person. For the longest time he prided himself on loyalty and strength, but his clan wanted to usurp the village of its power. It made it seem like his entire clan was in the wrong. How do I know you're telling the truth? Sasuke asked, and Bor shrugged his shoulders. He leaned against the wall and looked up at the ceiling. Simple, really, because I don't really care if you believe me or not. I only told you this because I still respect Itachi even if he is on the wrong side. That's the least I can do for him, not as a shinobi of Konoha, but as a precious member of his platoon. I'll let that digest in you while I go, Bor said, walking off, leaving Sasuke his thought. Sasuke balled his fists and cursed. He didn't know what was right anymore. Was he supposed to stop being the Avenger and turn back into the caring brother that he was, when Itachi was still family? Should he forgive Itachi? Would he, his mother and his brother, be a family again? Arg, why doesn't this make sense? Itachi, why are you so complicated? Sasuke wondered as he struggled to come to terms with everything. He could only be happy that he had a complete month to figure this whole thing out as he sat in his cell thinking over things. With Naruto and Kushina. The two Uzumaki were currently running through the trees of the forest as Kushina guided Naruto towards Uzugakure. The two were going at a breakneck pace, but they were quickly making some good time. We'll have to cut through wave country, but I think we'll make it there no problem, Kushina told him, and Naruto agreed with her as he tried his best to keep up with her. So, what do you want to show me there, Ka-chan? Naruto asked her, and Kushina smiled as she turned around. She slightly winked before shaking her head. CCRA, she said while Naruto pouted. He glared at his mother before he passed her. You don't want me to make you tell me, Naruto said playfully, while Kushina chuckled. She quickly jumped in front of Naruto's face, almost bringing their lips together before she pushed him away. You'll have to catch me first, Sochi, Kushina told him as she dashed off. Naruto gave an ear-splitting grin as he chased after his mother, looking to catch her and answer his question about what awaited him at Uzugakure. Kick! Kushina smiled at the open ocean and closed her eyes. It had been a long time since she could see it all. She had never been so close to her home in such a long time. Naruto watched his mother embrace the small feeling while he sat on the ground. They had been running for about a day and he was more than happy to have a break, but that didn't mean that he wouldn't be happy to go and see the place where his mother had grown up. Are you ready, Sochi? Kushina asked, and Naruto got to his feet. He did a few quick stretches to get the blood flowing back through his body as he turned to the redhead. Yeah, Ka-chan, I'm ready. So, are we going to take a boat? Naruto asked, and Kushina nodded as they walked towards the small ocean port. It wasn't a long walk away, just about a few minutes before they came to it. Sochi, I want you to be prepared, though. Uzugakure is a place surrounded by heavy whirlpools. There is a reason as to why only the Uzumaki could make it there, Kushina told him, while Naruto turned to her. If that's the case, then why did Byakuya say that nothing has been there for such a long time? Naruto asked, and Kushina sighed. Her smile faded slightly. and Naruto noticed it. He gulped as he wondered if he said something wrong, while Kushina responded, "It's complicated, Sochi. The nations feared our talent for Fuinjutsu, and so we were attacked. I was young at the time." Tsunade might have made an exaggeration with that 200-year thing. We're not that old, but then again history gets distorted that way. It's probably 40-45 years at best, but if I'm right then there is still something for you, Kushina said, and Naruto decided to agree with her as they entered the port. Kushina spotted a ship and went to go negotiate with the captain there. Meanwhile, Naruto let his mind wander back to the time that he had Hayashi had that talk. He was more than happy that Hayashi would keep his secret. He also seemed to be a lot more sociable than when Naruto had known him. He also thought about Hanako's sacrifice. He really needed one. He still had 5 days to get one since the new deal with the shinigami, which he was slightly relieved for. Let's see. I have Ka-chan, Gaara, and Hinoko-san. That's 3 people. I have to work on Makoto sometime before Sasuke gets out. But the appearance of another Uchiha will definitely cause some attention to come into Konoha. People will be asking around and Sasuke will be asked for information. He gave me his word that he wouldn't tell them I did it, but I wonder what I should do. Knowing Byakugan, she'll try to connect this to me somehow, Naruto thought with a gulp. He wasn't a criminal. He sure as hell wasn't a traitor, but with all he'd been doing, he wondered if maybe he should tell Tsunade before something really happened. Maybe he was being paranoid, but he figured with a contract like this that paranoia was a little normal. It still surprises me that you're such a deep thinker now. When you were younger, it was all brawn and no brains with you. You've really grown, Kit, Kyuubi said, making his presence known. Naruto snapped from his thoughts before smiling. I'm still like that at times, but more not than often. So Furball, how are you enjoying your domain? Naruto asked, and Kyuubi sighed as his tails curled around his body. It's very hot. Too many demonic screams and souls tortured. Just perfect, Kit, Kyuubi said in a blissful sigh while Naruto rolled his eyes at his biju. He didn't know when this whole friendship started between him and Kyuubi. For the longest time it was all about a give and take relationship between the two, but they both seemed to be doing better. Kyuubi was still the arrogant, boastful, and prideful fox that he'd always been, but he toned it down when talking to Naruto. Well, that's great, but I'm in kind of a predicament here, Naruto yelled, making Kyuubi cackle in his demonic domain. Your fears of being branded a traitor and losing everyone you care about. So you're worried about reviving that Uchiha, but you revive the wife of a Hyuga clan head. Something wrong with this picture? Kyuubi asked, and Naruto widened his eyes. Kyuubi was right. He'd already put himself out there. Oh, this wasn't going to be good at all. No, it wouldn't. But he'd just have to deal with. He could only hope that this wouldn't be a problem for later in his life. Back in Konoha, Tsunade stared in awe of the person in front of her. Hayashi, Hinata, Neji, and Hanabi smiled, while the Godame Hawkage tried to break her shock. First Kushina and now Hinako appears. Was this some kind of joke? There were so many things wrong with this picture. 1. Hayashi was smiling. That was weird enough before Tsunade stood to her feet. How? Why? When? I don't understand how this is happening, Tsunade said, and Hinako smiled. Last time I saw you, you were leaving the village, and now you're the Hawkage. I see some strange things have happened while I was gone, Hinako said with a snicker while Tsunade turned to Hayashi. Please explain before I get a headache, she said, and the Hyuga turned to Hinako. The two looked at each other and sighed. They both knew of their word to Naruto that they would say anything. It was for the best of the village, not to mention that it was the best for Naruto. Hayashi would always be faithful to Konoha and the Hokage, but he also kept his word no matter what. Well, Hokage-sama, I don't understand it myself. I think Hinako can tell you better, Hayashi said while the other 3 Hyuga turned to Hinako. The female Hyuga mentally gulped. She really wished she was dead again, but that didn't matter anymore. Well, Tsunade, I left the village. It was a bit after you did, but I had a good reason for it. I had lost my memories when I left. I had originally left on a mission for the Sandine. I don't remember much, but I only now that I got my memory back about a day ago. It seems I was gone for a long time, Hinako said, and Tsunade widened her eyes. No way. Sarutobi-sensei said that they had buried you. Even I learned about your death. Now tell me the truth, Tsunade said, and the Ambu in the room all got tense. Hinako sighed as she stepped forward. I am telling you the truth, simply because there is no reason for me to lie to you, and I don't know what body you have in the ground, but it isn't mine. If anything, it's probably a clone that's long since dispelled. Why not check and see if I'm right? Hinako suggested, and Tsunade narrowed her eyes. She waved her hand and an Anbu quickly left the room to go. Sigh. This is such a damn pain. If I'm wrong, then this'll be one hell of an apology, but what mission were you on? Tsunade asked, and Hinako quickly responded. Unknown to anyone. Hinako was one hell of a good liar when she wanted to be. She never lied on much of any occasion as she didn't condone it. But when she did it, her lies were too good. If I recall, then it was a mission that sent me into a town. I forget what it was called, but it was quite far away. But when I lost my memory, something just kept drawing me back to Konoha, and so I asked around a lot for the directions which people gave me, and I was happy to come back. I found that I had missed my family. My 2 daughters, my nephew, and my husband, Hinako said, making them all smile while the Ambu came back. There is nothing there, Tsunade-sama. The grave is completely empty, the Ambu told her, and Tsunade gave a loud sigh. Soon Shizune came through the room, and the blonde Hawkage turned to her. Shizune, I'm going home. I need to lay down. Just cancel all appointments. I'll do them all later, Tsunade said, getting from her desk while Shizune blocked the door. No. Tsunade-sama, you need to get your work done, then you may rest, but it's important that you do it now. I'll make you some tea to calm you down, but this must get done. You're already behind on the work. Plus, you need to finalize this document, Shizune said, and Tsunade looked at it. It was for her idea that she had wanted to start off with since Sakura gave it to her. Alright, fine. Just make me the damn tea and I'll get back to work. You can go now, Hayashi Hinako. I'll deal with it later, Tsunade said, and the Hyuga family walked out of the door. Tsunade rubbed her temples before looking out the window. Kushina and Hinako. This is weird. Who's next? Makoto. Yeah, right. If she comes back then, I'll give up sake for the rest of my life, Tsunade said to herself before Shizune placed a small cup of tea in front of her. Tsunade took the drink and allowed it to settle her nerves as she went back to work. With Sasuke. Sasuke looked at the ceiling. It had been 2 days since he'd been in prison. He found it all uneventful, to say the least. Granted, he had plenty of time to think about what that Ambu said to him. Sasuke couldn't get it out of his head. There has got to be a reason for this. Was my whole hatred a lie? What am I supposed to do? Sasuke wondered. He looked at the steel bars to the outside and got up. He quickly looked over the entire village. He saw some of the people walking the streets before he dropped to the ground. Great, so, even if the Dobe is lying about reviving my mother, how am I supposed to go after Itachi now? I really need something to do, Sasuke said to himself before his cell opened. He raised an eyebrow and quickly walked out. He saw that the prisoners also had their cells open also. An Ambu came to them and looked at them all. You've all got some free time. We'll be watching you closely, so don't do anything stupid. Meals will be served soon. Now get going, the Ambu said, and Sasuke traversed the prison walls of the place. He saw other prisoners conversing before one of them looked at the brunette, strangely. Well, it seems that the last of the Uchiha must be a weak chump to be in here, the man said while Sasuke closed his eyes. He sat down at a table on the lower level and decided not to respond, which made the man more irate. Hey, I'm talking to you, brat, the man said while Sasuke placed an elbow on the table. Everyone watched the two converse before the man slammed his hand on the table in front of Sasuke. Do you know who I am? I'm a B-rank nin from Snow Country. I always hated you, Uchiha. Do you hear me? He yelled, and Sasuke turned a tired eye to him. Shut up. If you have the time to waste trying to make me angry, then don't. I don't care who the hell you are. Just stay out of my way and I won't kill you, Sasuke said while the inmates cheered for a fight. Well, you don't have your precious Sharingan, so I'll be able to take your head right here and now, the man said as he brought his fist back. Sasuke opened his eyes as he saw the punch coming. The Uchiha quickly ducked under it, surprising the man before Sasuke kicked him into the air. The man groaned as Sasuke jumped into the air behind him. You think you can beat me? Don't bet your life on it, Sasuke said as he kicked the man down to the ground. He then twirled his body and brought his foot into the man's back, making the ground under them crumble beneath both their weight. You have a long way to go. Shishi Rendan. Lion's Barrage combo, Sasuke said as he got up from his seat. He quickly got to his feet and went back to his table while the Anbu came on the scene. They had all seen what happened and didn't really care just so long as no one tried to break out or do anything else. Not bad, Uchiha. You fight well, someone said, and Sasuke rolled his eyes before he got back to his feet. Whatever. I'm going back to my cell. It was a lot more quiet there than this damn place, Sasuke said as he quickly got out of the public place. He heard people moan or groan from his leaving and sighed. He didn't have time for this. Besides, there was still a lot more to think about for him. Back with Tsunade. In her room was an Anbu who was kneeling in front of the Goddamn Hokage. Tsunade gave the Anbu the list and she quickly took it in her hands. So, do you think this is a good idea? Tsunade asked, and the purple-haired Anbu looked at it. She raised an eyebrow before turning back to her Hokage. Well, Hokage-sama, it sounds interesting, but what's the purpose of this? I don't mind working with other people, but will those four go for it? I mean, the Uchiha is in prison at the moment. It's not like anything could happen, she said, and Tsunade stood to her feet.